And it is the top of the hour here at 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. It's time for the Digital Dash, 4 to 7 p.m. I'm your host, as always, Javier Reyes. My show, we're going to be talking all the things in entertainment, pop culture. You know how we do it. And today's a special one. Today's a very special one because it's the season finale of the Digital Dash. But keyword, season finale, not series. That's right. I'm happy to announce, guys, that while today's the first, or I should say the last of the summer session of my show, I'll be back during the fall semester, and I'll be on Mondays from 4 to 7. Okay, that's going to be the new time. Not Thursdays anymore. I know Thursday is always fun because it's the throwback day and all that stuff, but Monday should be cool. It'll be after Sunday. And the good thing about that is that that's right after football. So immediately I already have things I'll probably want to talk about. And football is also something we'll be talking about today, too. It's going to be a light show, very light show for sure. But what we do have is going to be great. And I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a fun discussion. So like I said, for football, my friend Mike Cavalier, who, if you guys were listening, he was on a couple weeks back to do the Star Wars rankings. He also called in a while back when we talked about our Atlantic City trip. Really a great friend of mine, of course, but also my sworn nemesis. But we're going to be doing our NFL predictions. And I have a lot of thoughts. I'm like kind of angry when it comes to football. Not just because my team is depressingly bad, but because, I don't know, I feel like I view the NFL negatively now. And not like the politics stuff and with Kaepernick. I mean that too. But there's something about every team that I can't stand. I just feel like people don't actually do their job when it comes to coaches. But we'll get into that, of course, later. And then, after that, I've been teasing it basically all summer, that we would be doing a Marvel Cinematic Universe type of thing. You know? Ranking all the Marvel movies. Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, meaning Marvel Studios, produced by Kevin Feige. Starting with Iron Man. Not like the old Spider-Mans and the old X-Men movies, but MCU. Because me, Cavalier too, we rewatched all of them this summer with two friends of ours. And those are three friends of ours, but mostly just two of them that showed up for the most part. And their names are Kayla and Radha, and they're going to be calling in. The first female guests on the Digital Dash. That's right. See, that's the thing. Nothing but illustrious guests on the Dash. You know what I mean? We finally got a female guest on here, and it's two. It's going to be fun. Hopefully they can call in from Skype. I'm going to try and set that up. Hopefully it's not a disaster. And yeah, the drought of only having guys on is finally, it's coming to an end. It's like The Bachelor, where like they didn't have a black bachelorette or whatever for like 27 seasons. It's like that kind of, except to a lesser extent in terms of what's more problematic. But yeah, really exciting show, guys. But before we get into those discussions, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to play Green Day, Bang Bang by Green Day, as always, to start off. And then I'm going to come back and do my little old news report that I did last time. I introduced that last time. Going to go through games and movies. It's going to be a lot of fun. So yes, you're listening to The Digital Dash, the season finale. Season finale. You know, can't get any better than that. 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. And as I said, Bang Bang by Green Day from their album Revolution Radio back in 2016. Stay tuned, guys. It's going to be a great show. All right. And we're back, everybody, here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Your boy, Javi Reyes. It's time for the opening dash. Latest in movies, TV, and video games. Little news report. I wasn't here last week, so actually there's some things to catch up on. But for the most part, a quiet week, but a decent week. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that happened. Some not great, which we're going to get into, but some interesting announcements. Starting with HBO has ordered a Watchmen series. This is really interesting. I saw the movie by Zack Snyder a while back, and I feel like this is one of the most celebrated graphic novels of all time, according to a report from Variety. Damien Lindelof's Watchmen has officially been ordered to series at HBO. The series is based on the DC graphic novel from Alan Moore, artist Dave Gibbons, and colorist John Higgins. It is set in an alternate history where superheroes, in quotes, are treated as outlaws. The series is slated to debut in 2019. That's really exciting. I know that like the DC slate of superheroes and properties haven't gotten the best, image because of what's happened lately with all their bad movies and stuff. I think this is a good start, though. It really is a good start. I personally liked the Watchmen movie, so I'm really curious to see what they do here. Next on the list, Crazy Rich Asians looks to dominate box office for the third straight week, according to a report from Variety itself. Looks to lead a slow Labor Day weekend. The summer's surprisingly strong August might end on a low note with the lack of high-profile releases over Labor Day weekend. All right, that might not be cause for concern, considering summer season. Actually, no, I'm not going to read all this. But Crazy Rich Asians, I put this in here because it's a big movie. A lot of people are referring to it as the Black Panther for the Asian community, which I think is an oversimplification and kind of not the right way to view it necessarily, but I understand it. It's really cool. I saw it myself this past week, and I'm going to be honest, I'm in the minority. I did not like the movie, and that's not just because of the genre. I know I talk a lot about superheroes on here and action movies, but I love romantic comedies too. This one was a romantic comedy, but it wasn't like I wouldn't say it was. It's like 85% not a comedy, I would say. Like, there's some funny parts in there. But for the most part, I just thought it was just kind of, it was paced oddly. I really knew where everything was going the whole time. And I didn't think the movie did enough to really kind of mix up my expectations. I don't want to get into it too much because, this is just the rundown of the opening dash. But didn't love the movie. I'm glad everybody else is enjoying it, though. It's really important to get more representation out there, especially in Hollywood. Next on the list, apparently Idris Elba is not playing James Bond after all. That's right. I talked about this before I took my break, and it's really unfortunate. He posted something on Twitter, but apparently in an interview he said he put all the Bond rumors to rest. He's not going to play the spy. It's really disappointing. That's not the only thing to come out of the James Bond franchise. They're having a lot of troubles getting directors. People have dropped out. I know Edgar Wright is on the short list currently. If you don't know Edgar Wright, he did Baby Driver, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Hot Fuzz, movies like that. Apparently he's one of the people they're looking at to direct Bond 25. But for now, we don't have anything, and it's disappointing. I don't understand why Idris would do that. I don't know why he's out here posting tweets that very much imply that he's going to be playing James Bond after all the rumors, and then he just shuts him down. So maybe he's just messing with us. Next up, The End of the Effing World. Have to censor that, of course. Season 2 has been announced. Really exciting stuff via Deadline. It's been renewed by Netflix for Season 2. Adapted by Charlie Koval, Burn, and produced by Clerkenwell Films and Dominic Buchanan Productions. The End of the Effing World is described as a darkly comic road trip tale. It follows James and Elisa, a self-proclaimed psychopath and a foul-mouthed rebel fed up with her boring life. I'm not going to read the rest of the synopsis because, honestly, if you haven't seen this show, I really recommend it. It's twisted in the best ways. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything about it. I really recommend it. It's not too long of a watch. It's still on Netflix, obviously. And you can actually check out my review in the Montclarian. I did that early January, I believe. The start of the spring semester is when I posted that. I did a review of Season 1, and I loved it. So check out that review if you want. Next up, of course, American Vandal Season 2. The trailer was released this past week, set for a September 14th release date. American Vandal was the mockumentary-style Netflix hit, Emmy Award-winning hit. It's fantastic. I love that show. I remember having a test or an assignment due the next day, and I've streamed all 8 episodes in one day, even though I had something due. It was incredible. I loved it. It was unique and uniquely smart. You know what I mean? Like, they pulled out all the stops to make this a mockumentary that felt real and that it was something you should take seriously. So I really recommend that. Season 2, September 14th. Definitely going to be watching that immediately. Next up on the list, this is actually recent, trailer for Hugh Jackman's next movie. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's Hugh Jackman. And I love Hugh Jackman. He's forever the Wolverine. So I wanted to talk about that. Movie's The Front Runner, and it's directed by Jason Reitman. And it's an upcoming American biographical dark comedy based on the 2014 book, All the Truth Is Out, The Week Politics Went Tabloid. The film chronicles the rise of American Senator Gary Hart, a Democratic presidential candidate in 1988, and his subsequent fall from grace when media reports surfaced of his extramarital affair. It's going to be released on November 7th, 2018 by Columbia Pictures. Film also stars Vera Farmiga, J.K. Simmons, and Alfred Molina. Really exciting. An interesting time for a movie like that to come out, honestly, with the subject matter of it, given the political times we're in. But I'm Team Hugh Jackman. I have season tickets to basically any movie he ever puts out, forever, for a lifetime. Thank you, Mr. Hugh. Next up on the list, the highest paid actors by Forbes came out this past week. The top 10 paid actors of 2018. Number 1, George Clooney, which might come as a bit of a shock to people. He grossed $239 million. The Rock, Robert Downey Jr., Salman Khan, Adam Sandler, Akshay Kumar. Hold on one second. Chris Hemsworth, Jackie Chan, Will Smith, and Chris Evans. If you guys didn't know Salman Khan and Akshay Kumar, sorry if I mispronounced the names, it's because they're Bollywood stars. So maybe that's why you're unfamiliar with them, and they make a lot of money. I've heard of them before, but I've never watched their movies, unfortunately. So that's pretty cool. George Clooney, the greatest part about this is he actually hasn't made a movie in a year, but he's still making that much money. Keep in mind the Forbes list is based off of who's just the highest paid actor, not necessarily for movie stuff. He's making a lot of money off of his tequila business, Mr. Clooney. Real big flex for my guy George Clooney on this one. So I guess congrats to him. Otherwise, nothing really surprising on that. Although I will say, The Rock, he's falling out of favor a little bit with people. I've been noticing it. I think he needs to slow down with how many action movies he puts out every, 3 weeks. I think he needs to slow down. You don't want him to oversaturate everybody. He's becoming too attached to just being the action movie star who is a good actor, in my opinion, but he's just in a movie every 2 seconds. I think people are kind of fed up with it. And lastly, Ethan Hawke, who I love. Love Ethan Hawke. That's my guy. He made some interesting comments this last week about the film Logan, which I, of course, adore. And basically said that it isn't a great movie. It's a great superhero movie. And I'm not going to lambaste the guy because I love Ethan Hawke. I love his work. I've loved listening to things he's said on interviews and all that stuff. I think he's great. But sorry, Mr. Ethan, you're wrong. Not that you're wrong about it being that it isn't a great movie. That's an opinion, but I don't like this idea of this elitist comment of being like, oh, that's a good superhero movie. Like, oh, that's a good thing for those people. But like real movies, and he brings up like Clint Eastwood, which is fine, but he brings up all these other movies that, they're good, but it seems very snobby. You know what I mean? Like he's talking about Bresson, Robert Bresson. It's not Bergman. You know what I mean? And it's just, okay, dude, like, I get it. You went to theater school and all that stuff. You like those movies. Logan is a great movie, in my opinion, and a lot of others. You don't have to demean and downgrade it just because it's a superhero movie. I think that's really silly. So that's it for movie news. We're going to take a little quick break here, listen to PSA, and when we get back, we're going to go over the gaming news. So, yeah, stay tuned. Digital Dash here on 90.3 WMSC, Upper Montclair. And we're back, everybody, here. After that quick little break, just went through the movie news. Next up, we're going to gaming. My favorite, personally. Starting off the list, we got Spyro Reignited Trilogy has been delayed. Originally set to release September 26th. It has now been pushed back to November 13th. It will be released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I was looking forward to this one. I kind of like that it's been pushed back in terms of, for 2 reasons, actually. There was I was already going to be playing Spider-Man this whole month, honestly, like day in and day out. But it's cool that now it's being pushed back. Don't put all of your fruits into one basket. You know what I mean? Don't have everything coming out the same month. So yeah, it's also the second reason is because there was reports that the game was actually going to have extra discs in order to get the other games. Like it required more than one disc because the Reignited Trilogy, it's a remake of the original PlayStation trilogy of Spyro, and the first game would be on there, but then there's these 2 other discs, or at least another disc that would be required to play the other games, which just seems weird. It seems weird that this thing needs that many discs to put like the information on it. That's just a bad kind of sign. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain it fully, but so in that respect, I think it's good that they delayed it. It's probably due to that. They're probably trying to, work out the kinks and wrinkles of the software and stuff like that before they make it go gold. So yeah, there you go. Next up, this is a fun little story. Square Enix, one of studio directors at Square Enix, says they're not worried about Spider-Man. Tomb Raider director, published by Eidos Montreal, and their lead writer, Jill Murray and Daniel. Hold on, let me get this name right. Bison. They address the elephant in the room, which is the fact that Marvel's Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4 is coming out very shortly. I'm sorry, not very shortly. Very close to the release of Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And basically, they said this has been a great year for games, and that it's cool when you have a lot of different great games coming out around the same time. It's good for the community. And I just thought it was funny that they were like, they're not worried at all that Spider-Man's going to hinder its sales, which I think is just absolutely incorrect. And then they said, well, only game has Lara Croft, the main character of Tomb Raider, of course. That's what Mary said. And my response is, yeah, that's true. Lara Croft is pretty cool. Only one of the games has Spider-Man, though. Arguably one of the most popular fictional characters in the world. So I don't understand why Square has been kind of messing with this franchise. I played the first two Tomb Raider games in this reboot that they've had, started since 2013, and I really like them. They're kind of a more mature, violent version of the Uncharted games. That's how I describe them. And they're really good, but they always seem to get their legs, swept from underneath them. They put it against... They had it on... The second game was a timed exclusive on Xbox One, and that was a silly thing to do considering the Xbox One was not really doing well around that time, and they released it around the same time as a bunch of other games that came out, and now you're releasing it when Spider-Man's coming out. It's just... It seems a little silly. It's like you're setting this thing up to fail, So I hope it doesn't, though. I'm sure it's going to be a great game, just like the other two. Next up, no Assassin's Creed, the long-running franchise from Ubisoft. There will be no Assassin's Creed in 2019. They're going to take another year off. For those who remember, this happened before, not this previous year, but the year before they actually took off the Assassin's Creed trilogy, which has become annualized. The new one is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is set for release this October 5th. I think this is a great thing. I've long believed that Assassin's Creed is overrated. I do not understand why people like those games so much to buy them every single year. I know that they changed them and make them, this one's Roman times. They've had them in London, old Sicily, Italy, and the 12th century or whatever. Like, it's really cool, and I know that they have a lot of talented people working behind those things, and they put a lot of work into them. But I've just always found it a little confusing. Like, just take 1 year off, please. You know what I mean? I would say that for almost every game franchise that's annualized right now. Like Call of Duty, for example. I feel like just take a year off. You know what I mean? Your games are solid, but you're kind of oversaturating the market a little bit. So no Assassin's Creed in 2019. Interesting stuff. Devil May Cry 5, which was announced at E3 at the Xbox conference. It's been given a release date set for March 8th, 2019. Very cool. I know people are excited about that series. I never liked Devil May Cry, but I know a lot of people are excited for this one, so good for them. Housemarque. The developers who, if you don't know about Housemarque, they're one of the first-party studios that Sony owns that made the Stardust trilogy, the games like Resogun for the PlayStation 4. Their new game has been announced. It's called Storm Divers. The Finnish studio is not giving up, it seems, and it looks interesting because the reason I bring this up is because, one, Housemarque is extremely underrated, and for sure one of the most underrated developers in the industry, and some people just attacked just showed up outside the door, it seems. Hello guys. That was freaky. Anyway, as I was saying, I think Housemarque is extremely underrated in terms of just developers in the gaming industry. And this new trailer for Storm Divers, it's very much not anything they've done before. They've made very arcadey, top-down type of games. And this one looks almost like Fortnite, but like an extreme Fortnite. And basically the reason that they're pivoting this way is they actually wrote a really heartfelt blog post about a year and a half ago about how those type of arcade games just don't sell. And it was a really genuine note. I really recommend people looking that up. It was kind of sad because they make such great games, but they're kind of being forced because of economic reasons to pivot to something else. So I think the game looks interesting. I recommend. It's called Storm Divers. Check out that trailer. Next up, Dark Souls Trilogy. The games that are kind of the bane of my existence. It's been announced. The Dark Souls Trilogy, a remaster, has been announced. It's going to come for PS4 and Xbox One, and it's coming out on October 19th. It'll contain the first 3 Dark Souls games. priced at $80, U.S. standard currency. Very cool. I don't care about the Dark Souls trilogy because I like playing games that are challenging, but not in the way that, all right, this is just dumb. I understand a lot of people like Dark Souls. They're really well-made games, well-crafted games, but their calling card is that they're hard. And I'm not talking like, oh, some Mario levels are hard. No. Like, these things are impossible. And you're supposed to die a lot. So for anybody who likes that series, very cool, exciting news. October 19th, Dark Souls Trilogy, Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Next up, Shenmue 3. If you guys don't know what that is, don't worry, because I barely knew what it was either, but it's a cult classic. It was announced at E3 2016 to be coming back. It's one of the cult classic games, so Shenmue 3 will be released August 27th, 2019 is the release date right now. That's a really long time away for you to give a definitive release date. I wouldn't be surprised if that gets delayed. Not even delayed, but like if it gets pushed up maybe. I don't know. It's just weird for you to announce a firm release date a year later. You know what I mean? When this is a game that not a lot of people know about. It's not like this is, Call of Duty where they can announce their release date immediately after the game comes out, honestly. They could be like, all right, and next year's Call of Duty is this day, So that's interesting. Looking forward to other people's opinions on Shenmue 3. And next up on the list, Black Ops 4, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Speaking of Activision and Call of Duty, Black Ops 4 beta is going to begin on September 10th. Yes, 10th, with its all-new Blackout mode. Interesting stuff. We don't know a lot about the Blackout mode. What's interesting about Black Ops 4 is that there will be no single-player campaign, which is the first game in the Call of Duty franchise to ever have that, or ever not have it, I should say. And it's going to be replaced with this Blackout mode, which, from what everyone is saying, it's basically their take on Fortnite's Battle Royale free-for-all mode. It's going to be interesting, September 10th. I might hop on that, maybe. It's a beta, it's free. I might check it out if I have time. But, like I said, I'll probably be busy playing Spider-Man. And lastly on the list, Cyberpunk 2099, the next project from Swedish studio CD Projekt Red, who, if you don't know, they're responsible for the Witcher series, The Witcher 1, 2, and 3, which is, a lot of people say, is one of the best RPGs ever made. This is their next project. Cyberpunk 2099 was revealed at Xbox's conference. At the very end, it was a really cool trailer. And they released this past, just 2 days ago, a full gameplay breakdown trailer, basically. It was 40 minutes long, this huge long demo. And I don't want to talk about everything, and now another friend is just randomly popping in here. I do not know what's going on today. What's up, Mario? Let me just finish up here. And looks really cool. I'm excited for that game. I think it's going to be a next-gen game, though. I don't know how that's going to run on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, honestly. But I really recommend checking it out. It's too much for me to go over now. But maybe in a future show I'll go over it in more detail. Excited for that. No release date currently, though. So we got to stay tuned for that. And that's it for the opening dash, my little news breakdown. We're going to take a bit of a break. And when we get back, my friend Mike Cavalier is going to call in, and we're going to do football talk. We're doing NFL predictions. Oh, yeah. And now Marius just smiled at me. That devilish, salacious grin on his face. Look at him. He's scheming. Yeah, look at him. He's a schemer. He's like that guy from The Simpsons. I love how nobody can hear us right now, or see you right now. Anyway, stay tuned, guys. 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. And what's up, everybody? We're back here on the Digital Dash. My show. My radio show. You know what it is. On the line, hopefully, I believe, calling in from a currently undisclosed location is my friend Mike Cavalier. How you doing, bud?
It's going.
What?
It's going.
It's going good?
Yeah, it's going. It's going all right.
It's going all right. So yeah, for some background information, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, you got any of this background noise?
A little bit, but I don't think it's too bad.
Okay, you're gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, I get it. I'm gonna have to deal with it. Dealing with it is the right way to put it, because for those who don't know fully, Mike Cavalier is very susceptible to just betraying you, and that's what happened. He was planning, or I should say, not him. He wasn't planning. I plan everything. I'm the organized one. I was planning for 2 weeks to have him come on and talk about the NFL and do the Marvel rankings later on. But instead, he decides conveniently and rather suspiciously yesterday to have to go visit his family and wherever. That's what he has to do. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing. I got nothing.
Yeah, that's right. All right, but yeah, guys, we're doing NFL predictions now. All right, that's what we're doing. And I feel like you and I, one way or the other, one medium or another, find a way to do something like this. We've done podcasts before.
Absolutely. Every year.
We've done an article before. We've done everything. Every year we manage to do some silly NFL predictions thing.
Podcast, article, radio show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll be up somewhere. If you wanted to find them, people could probably find them. But yeah,
I don't even think I could find them.
Yeah, I think I'll find them. I'll find them after the show and post them on the social medias just for the heck of it. So we're going to do each division, just talk about them a little bit. We could be a little bit flexible. My rankings are kind of, they're not, they're malleable, but for the most part I have a feeling about what's going to happen this year. At least I think I do.
Now,
and let me tell you, Kev, really quickly. What happened?
We're going to go division by division?
Yeah, division by division. We can start with the easiest one, the AFC East. But before we do that, let me just tell everybody, guys, I'm going to get nasty on this. What I mean by nasty is I hate every team in the NFL for almost a different reason, including my own. Believe it or not yours, though. Yours I begrudgingly actually really love, which we've talked about before. And I hate that I like your team.
Hey, I'll take it.
All right, so let's do it. AFC East. I'm going to give like a little definition of every division that we do. The predictable division, the AFC East. Last year, New England Patriots took this. I know that, I heard you just now, like you had like a big shocked so when I heard that. They went 13-3 last year, followed by the Buffalo Bills went 9-7, Miami Dolphins went 6-10, and then the New York Jets went 5-11. So, a lot of new stuff actually in the AFC East this year. I don't think it's going to matter in terms of who makes the playoffs, but the Jets might be not bad, ?
Well, that's the thing. The only sure thing in this division is that New England's going to win it. After that,
that's true.
You can make an argument for any one of these teams to come in second, I think, except maybe Miami.
Yeah.
So New York and Buffalo, I think you can make an argument. Either one, they'll probably be, neck and neck.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that LaShawn McCoy, he's gotten a little bit slower possibly because he'll have a wrecking chain ball next to him. Oh, wait, no, he hasn't been sent to prison yet. We'll see what happens there. Yeah, but seriously though, LaShawn McCoy is a big deal. That's why he might get suspended. I think it's an Ezekiel Elliott kind of situation.
I had to read up on that. I mean, the Zeke situation just threw everybody for a complete loop. Nobody had any idea what was going on.
I don't think the commissioner had any idea
kind of
either.
The same thing we're going to get with the Shady situation.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Goodell had any idea what was going on either, or the courts or anything.
Well,
he was expected to miss time, then he wasn't. Then it's like, oh, he might not miss a game, but then he was out, much to the chagrin of many fantasy owners out there.
Yeah, exactly.
But to them, I say, hey, don't draft Ezekiel Elliott. You'll feel better about your life if you don't. So for me, I've got the Pats taking this, then followed by the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills. I think the Bills have the potential to be one of the worst teams in the NFL this year. I know that they, on paper, don't have the worst roster. They still got a kind of a playmaking defense. They still have McCoy. But I feel some bad karma being sent their way for how they treated Tyrod. Or Tyrod.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Tyrod
Taylor.
How ridiculous is that?
It makes me vehemently upset. I was annoyed when I heard about that. I was just like, all right, it's like when Idris Elba was apparently going to be James Bond and then he wasn't. That's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah.
And the other thing, like I said, I have something to hate about all these teams. I've never liked LaShawn McCoy. He's just kind of annoying. I don't know. He's he just always talks stuff and maybe 1 out of 5 times he backs it up. You know what I'm saying? When he was with Philly, he was really good. And
yeah.
I hate the type of players who people are like, hey, I don't know if he's going to be that great this year. They attack that person, and it's like, relax. They don't hate you. Not to mention, this is the same guy who, likes to insult other teammates that he doesn't think are good. Shout out Tim Tebow. He was right. Don't get me wrong, but come on, dude. I still remember that, dude. I still remember that.
Are you ready for this hot take?
Oh, I'm ready. Go.
I'm excited to watch the Jets and Bills pretend to act like they have their franchise quarterback.
Ooh. That's a take. Well, all right. Oh, yeah, I forgot. It's Josh Allen. I forgot. I thought it was Peterman for a little bit. Doesn't change my prediction whatsoever. But the Jets, I actually strangely don't like that they traded Bridgewater away. Like from
they had to do that trade.
I know they had to, but yeah. And for those who don't know, he got traded to the Saints like yesterday. I don't know. I don't like the idea of throwing this kid into the fire like that. I know their first couple games aren't too bad. The Jets, I mean. They're playing week 1. They're playing Detroit, then Miami, then Cleveland, and then Jacksonville's a tough one. At Jacksonville, too. Oh. But I get it. Like, it's not like he's being thrown into the fire immediately, which is good. Darnold, right. I mean. Overall, and also I hate the Miami Dolphins. My bad. I forgot that. For some political reasons that I won't get into, and also because I don't think they've realized that Ryan Tannehill isn't good at football yet. Every other person in the league.
Tannehill takes that next step.
Yeah, Tannehill takes that next step, man. I don't know. That's the type of guy that has one okay season, and I guess he just knows people in the league, and they're like, hey, Ryan Tannehill. You know what the line is? It's like, he does what you want to see from a quarterback. That's the line people use to describe Ryan Tannehill. He's like, he has the mechanics down. He looks like an NFL quarterback. That's what everybody always says about that dude. It's annoying. And I don't know, did you give your final standings predictions? I forgot.
Yeah, I'm going to go New England. Somewhat reluctantly, I'm going to put the Jets at 2, Buffalo 3, Miami 4.
All right, so we're basically on the same page, except for Buffalo, I think, is finishing last.
Yeah.
I want to put the Dolphins last, but I want Buffalo to get cursed for their Tyrod treatment.
The Jets, Bills, and Dolphins are going to have a combined 18 wins, maybe.
Yeah, true. I get that. All right, but now let's move on. That division's kind of meaningless. What do you want to do next? AFC West, North, South?
Let's go to the West. Let's
go to the West.
Talk about the soon to be. Oh, yes, they are the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to refer to them that way, I don't know. It's kind of like Carson Wentz not winning the MVP and losing it to Brady. Everybody knows Carson Wentz should have won it, but we say it's this person. You know what I mean? So anyway, they're the San Diego Chargers still for a lot of people. And speaking of them, my favorite team. Let me quickly go through this. Last year, the Chiefs won the division. They went 10-6, followed by my Chargers at 9-7. Then I almost said Los Angeles Raiders. The Oakland Raiders, it's going 6-10, and the Broncos 5-11. This division is secretly it was almost the best division in the NFL for a couple years. Every team in here was pretty amazing, but then people forgot that Derek Carr is still a work in progress. They forgot that Oakland didn't have a defense. The Broncos forgot that you actually need a quarterback, and the Chiefs forgot that you need to stay good on defense. So and the Chargers forgot how to win football games. My bad. So you still there?
Yep.
Let me just quickly go through. I've got the Broncos winning this. I've got Denver first. Then take this one for a loop. I got the Raiders second, Chargers third, Chiefs fourth. Now.
Wow.
Let me explain real quick. And geez, man, there's kids running out the hallway. It just scared the crap out of me.
We'll put that out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Can you hear that? This is ridiculous.
What the heck was that?
This is so stupid.
Hey, I know that you're I know you like the Godfather movies, but come on.
All right, go ahead.
What? All right, this is a side. When we get to talking about the Chargers, this happens. Here's my thoughts. I think Case Keenum, I'm kind of buying him a little bit for what he did in Minnesota. I've been saying for a while, I think Denver literally just needs a quarterback, and they'd be pretty decent. I like Demaryius Thomas still. I still like Emmanuel Sanders. I think he's going to have a comeback year, actually. I like Royce Freeman. I like their running back they have, the rookie. And they still got some guys on that defense. Obviously Von Miller. I know they lost Aqib Talib, but honestly, I really like Denver this year. It feels right. I don't know. Just a hunch. Hey, you got to go crazy sometimes with these predictions,
That's, I'm actually, you don't want to put the reverse jinx on your team, so I'll do that for you. I'm going Chargers 1, Raiders 2, Chiefs 3, Broncos 4.
Okay.
I think this is a tight division, through and through. I think, Chargers could get to 11, 12 wins, and then I think Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos are all in that 8 to 9 win area.
Fair. The thing with the Chargers is, in my opinion and a lot of others, they clearly have the best roster on paper of any team in this division. Like, clearly. They have the quarterback. We have great defensive players up front with Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa. Some underrated ones like Casey Hayward and playing corner. And Jalil Adai, who I actually think is really good. He's pretty underrated, too. You got Phil Rivers, King Phillip Rivers, and Keenan Allen, great receiver. Still got Melvin Gordon. We have our draft pick from last year who's going to be playing Mike Williams, another receiver. Tyrell Williams is okay, too. We lost our tight end, though, for the year, our starting tight end. And we lost an all-pro corner, Jason Verrett, for the year. This is why I put the Chargers third, Cav. They will have 15 injuries by week 3. Including Rivers, except he'll play through it. Because he's crazy.
I still think they have enough talent to overcome that. I think that Phillip Rivers is the best quarterback in this division. I think him and Keenan Allen are just going to – I mean, you've seen the past couple of years. They put up monstrous numbers. I think that, you get a second-year Joey Bosa, and this team looks good.
Yeah, I mean, they look good.
They were the best team to not make the playoff last year, and they finished the season 9-3.
Hey.
I mean, I think they're the best shot at winning this division.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the Chargers, but they really just are remarkable. Like, this is a team, Cav, where you actually had to bring up last year, where you had to be like, one of their problems is kicking. Like, they don't have a kicker. We couldn't kick anything outside of 20 yards. How many NFL teams have you ever heard of that have had that problem? It's like, oh, we literally just can't kick field goals. Like, what? Like, I don't understand.
Didn't the Chargers sign Caleb Sturgis?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Who cares about kickers?
But the Chargers are just like, I love them, but I also hate them at the same time. I think the problem, another thing that's going to go against them is that they're playing 16 away games this year. I don't know if you heard about this. Pretty remarkable. I don't know why the NFL did that we're playing 16 away games. Oh, no, wait, they didn't do that. It was the owner who, because residents of San Diego didn't want to pay for a billionaire's football stadium, he decided to move them to L.A. to a soccer stadium that they came sell out. Unbelievable. Remember when they were playing the Eagles and we got booed out of our own stadium?
Oh, dude, that was an incredible game. That was like, what, maybe 400 people there total?
Yeah, you sent me the clip, and I'm like, yeah, I quit. But, I mean, I would love for them to do well. I like that you're reverse jinxing them for me. Thank you, because I did that last year. And last thing to note, I put the Raiders second because they shouldn't do this well. So I think they're going to. John Gruden hasn't been a coach, I believe, since the first Lord of the Rings movie came out. So he should be awful, and that's why it's going to be great. Everything's going to work out for them because Phillip Rivers can never catch a break. So they're going to finish second. The Chiefs, I have a question for you. Serious question. By what week do you think people realized that the problem with the Chiefs wasn't Alex Smith, and that's that their defense can't guard anybody? By what week do you think?
Let's see. Probably week 5 or 7, 5 or 6, when they're 2-3, 3-3, and have scored 35 points a game by giving up 40 points a game.
Yeah, when Pat Mahomes throws an interception deep into 3-man coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be fun. To like his running back. I actually kind of like Mahomes. I just think it's ridiculous. People are like, put in Mahomes. I'm like, they put up 30 points. That's not, like, what are you talking about? Alex Smith was great last year. And we're going to get more into him later, too, for sure. So, yeah, that's the AFC West. My beloved Chargers. I hope they prove me wrong. I'm just tired of, like, predicting them. I'm so mad. I can't do it. We got to move on. AFC North or South next?
Let's go to South.
South. Oh, boy. The AFC South.
My boy Blake Bortles.
The ultimate wait-and-see division, this one.
You know what? I can't bring myself to say MVP.
You were about to say MVP? I would have hung up the phone.
I was very close to, but I can't bring myself to.
I would have hung up the phone if you did that. Jacksonville Jaguars, they led this division last year going 13. Ooh, I'm sorry, not 13-3. I was looking in their division. They went 10-6. Then Tennessee followed by them, and another team that I'll get into in a second about why I hate them. They went 9-7. Then the Colts and then the Houston both tied for last, going 4-12. This division for a while was the worst division in football, but now it's like interesting because Colts, they got Andrew Luck back, of course. Titans, new head coach, and Texans, Deshaun Watson had probably the best showing of a rookie quarterback we've seen in I don't know, since RG3 that one season, I guess. But it was better. And since then, I can't really. You still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just muting myself when I'm not talking.
Oh, no, that's good, because I was getting scared. I'm like, oh, boy. And then the Jaguars, best defense in the NFL. Jalen Ramsey is kind of introverted guy from what I see, but I think that he's going to find his play soon and be a little bit more outgoing, I would say. And then that's it. I don't really have any inkling about any team this year, except that I'm having the Jaguars finish again first. Then I've actually got. See, this is the one that I can't figure out, man. For second and third and fourth, I have no idea. You go first, actually. I'm tired of leading this off.
I am in the same position with you. I think Jacksonville is going to come in first.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2, 3, 4. Right now, I have Houston, Indy, Tennessee. But it would not surprise me if the opposite came true.
The problem with Houston is that they have no O-line, and last time I checked, that's really important to make sure Deshaun Watson doesn't die on the field. But and also the jury's still out on Bill O'Brien as a head coach. I just think that you've had injuries, but it's a little weird that one injury seems to derail your entire team, whether it be Watson or J.J. Watt. It's just a little strange to me every time I see that. I don't know if he's a good coach. We'll see. So they need to really fix that O-line, and if they do, I think they'll be good. The Titans, I'm always a fan of teams that realize they have talent, and the only reason they're not doing good probably is because their head coach. I really like that they got rid of their coach despite making the playoffs. He was not good. People who actually watched football last year, the Titans were not good at anything. Somehow made it into the playoffs, though, because reasons. And I think that I like the signing of Dion Lewis. I think their defense might get a little bit buffed up a little bit. But all in all, I still believe in the Jaguars, and I have a theory for you. I was talking to somebody earlier about this. You know how Ramsey came out and insulted like every quarterback in the league?
Sure.
I think, and how he said like even about his own quarterback, Blake Bortles.
Right.
I feel like they have a good relationship. That's what that tells me. I feel like, you know how I always lambast you on Twitter?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like it's like I feel like Ramsey coming out like that. I feel like this team plays for him. I don't know. It's just a
like
feeling
a fly
I have.
coming at the king, and the king just kind of like swatting it away.
Yeah, it's like it's like they're like messing around with him, but like in a way that's like I think Blake Bortles knew he was going to say that, and I just feel like you don't say that about your teammate. And since we haven't had any reports that everybody hates each other in that locker room after that, I just have a feeling that Jalen Ramsey has a good relationship with him. That's just my thing, and that tells me that team kind of rides for him. I think he was pretty bad last year, aside from like a couple games late in the season, and he had some good playoff moments, I guess, against the Pats. I actually think he might be okay. I just think the team plays for him. I like their running back Fournette. Their defense is awesome. They only have to score 18 points a game anyway to win. I still like the Jaguars unless something really awful happens. I got them winning this pretty easily. Unless like Andrew Luck comes back and is the second coming of, Dan Marino, then that's the only way I can kind of see this. The Texans too, though. I like the Texans. I'm gonna have the Texans second, by the way.
Roll that out.
What, Luck?
Yeah, I mean he was so good when he was healthy. Granted, the team around him.
I know. That's my problem, though, is the last time he was healthy, they still were kind of a mess.
Exactly.
I don't even think they have Vontae Davis anymore. I don't know about their running backs necessarily. They're kind of unproven. Marlon Mack and Jordan Wilkins, and probably some other person. Is Frank Gore still there? No, he's not. He's still in the league, though, shockingly. So, yeah, you got any other thoughts on the AFC South?
No, I think this was Jacksonville's division lose. They were a quarter away from the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
I think that it's their division.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be weird, though. It's one of those – it's like a fantasy division where I feel like a lot of people are going to be paying attention to Luck. Everything on the Texans is kind of exciting. They'll be probably better on defense. So, yeah, I'm going to go Jaguars, Texans. I'm going to say Titans, Colts. Although I'm very willing to change the Colts by, after week 2. I need to see Andrew Luck make an NFL throw first.
Right.
And then I'll be kind of more in on them. So, yeah, that's the AFC South. Last one, AFC North.
I have a couple hot takes. These are
but before,
my,
my bad. Never mind.
Two of my season-long hot takes, right, in one division.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Here's my
Tell everybody here, top of the hour, 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. AFC North. last division of the AFC, right? Yeah, last division in the conference. I forgot how math and reasoning worked for a second there. Give us your take, Mike Cavalier.
All right, here's my first take. The Cleveland Browns
Oh.
will win this division.
What? No, you're not serious.
Oh, I'm serious.
You're serious?
I'm serious.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm not buying the Steelers hype. I'm just not buying it.
Okay. I mean, is there Steelers hype? Are we sure? Yeah, go on.
They're second to win the AFC conference. They're tied with the Eagles in odds to win a championship. So there's a lot of Steelers hype, apparently, and I do not know where it's coming from. But I am not buying it.
You know where it's coming from? The fact that they finished 13-3 last year, won the division, and they still have the best running back in football and then the best wide receiver in football. That's probably where it's coming from, Kev.
No, you know what? That's fair. But, I mean, where's they got them?
I think that – see, here's the thing. I want to buy into the Browns so bad. They're kind of slowly becoming a meme team. I really wanted them to sign Dez because that just would have been such a great cast of characters with irrational confidence guy Jarvis Landry, probably also irrational confidence guy Des Bryant, and then Josh Gordon, who might play 2 games this year, possibly. That's not out of like the realm of possibility that he only plays 2.
I think it is.
What? That he only plays 2? You think he's gonna really like be good?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. It's been he hasn't played in like 4 years though, right?
I understand that.
Okay. I mean, it's fair. It's a fair belief to believe in a guy who hasn't played in 4 years. I understand it. It's a smart take. I still have the Steelers, and I hate to do it. Another team I despise. I know my mom does not like them for a certain reason that you know about that we won't get into right now. And then I can't believe I'm doing it. See, here's the thing. I hate every team in this division. Steelers because I don't think they don't want to pay players that are good, apparently, referring to Le'Veon Bell, despite him only being 26, so they're probably going to run him into the ground this year, like the Cowboys did with DeMarco Murray a few years back. I want to buy into the Browns hype because they really have a lot of talent. Like, they really do. Like, this is the most talented Browns team we've seen in a while, and I like Tyrod Taylor. I actually think he's pretty decent. Has more of a supporting cast this time instead of Kelvin Benjamin and Sammy Watkins, who show up every now and again as professional football players. And then the Bengals just have a bunch of jerks on their team with Vontaze Burfict and Adam Jones. I'm sorry, those guys just act like absolute jerks. If you want proof of that, go watch the playoff game from 2 years ago when they lost to Pittsburgh. After Ben Roethlisberger got hurt, by the way. After that, that's all you need to know about the Bengals. And Marvin Lewis, still the head coach. As I think, did I say this once? A rich man's Jeff Fisher? Always staying around. Jeff Fisher.
That's
my gosh.
Perfect explanation of him.
Yeah, Marvin Lewis, this is like his 15th season. Why is he still a coach? It's not that they've been awful. It's just you see guys getting fired after their team improves in the NFL. Shout out Lovie Smith with the Buccaneers. But then this guy, it's like lose every single round, no matter how good they are. They always lose in the first round of the playoffs, whether it be to my team, whether it be epic collapses like they did against Pittsburgh a while back in the playoffs. They always lose first round, like without fail, in really spectacular fashion. But they're healthier now. They've got guys back. Joe Mixon, it's all him now. I think they might have a good running game. AJ Green's going to be there. All the receivers. I think that, and Tyler Eifert might be good again, their tight end. I think that the problem with them is that they're a team that's never great at one thing, but that might be enough because I don't trust Baltimore a lot. I would love Baltimore if Flacco was in the quarterback, I'll tell you that much. And the Browns are the Browns, so I think it's kind of a fool's errand to bet on them like you're doing right now. So what do you think, sir? What do you think? What's your take?
So I think the Browns are going to win this division. And I got Steelers coming in 2, Ravens 3, Bengals 4. Here's my other hot take.
Oh, boy.
I think we see Lamar Jackson by week, I'll say 10.
Week 10? 10, okay. I hope we see him by, like, week 3. I don't know.
Well,
it's going to be hard.
Well, I think they're going to give Joe Flacco enough time to go, but I don't know.
the Ravens, they're playing. They have an okay schedule too.
It's gonna be right after the bye week. I guarantee it.
That'd be interesting. Their bye week is week 10. They're playing Buffalo, Cincy, Denver, Pittsburgh. Those are their first 4. I think they win Buffalo pretty easily. I think Cincy, I can't get a good read on that team right now. And Denver, I think they beat Denver. And then Pittsburgh, I think, is a loss. And that's the other thing. I'm picking Pittsburgh to win the division, but this is one of those things. After week 2, Roethlisberger could have that. You know how every year he has a game where he throws 5 picks and lose the game like single-handedly? Like, it could be one of those. Like, but It might be for the whole season. And then if they just don't have a quarterback, then they're kind of in trouble. I mean, they have great players, good position players, underrated defense, even though they gave up like 65 points to Bortles in the playoffs. I still kind of like Pittsburgh for it, though. I love your Browns pick, though. It's fun. Everyone's rooting for the Browns. You have to root for the Browns.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm not going to be able to root for the Steelers, so might as well, pick a team I'm going to be able to root for.
All right. But yeah. All right, so we're done with the AFC now? You want to move on?
Well, who's the AFC champion?
AFC champion?
Yeah. You want to do that now or you want to do it later?
No. Let's do it now. Let's just name our AFC champion. I got, unfortunately, I've got the Pats again. I'm sorry. I hate it so much.
No,
this is an all-time reverse jinx on my part. I hope it works. I mean, it's not inconceivable that the Pats are bad. It's just if Brady is still good, then they win. Like, it's very simple. You know what I mean? Like, it's just as simple as that.
I agree with that. I think that, I don't see any other team. Mm-hmm. Maybe Jacksonville, given that what we saw last year. But
yeah, if Bortles actually becomes really good and another receiver on that team emerges, I can see them giving him a tough time. But it's going to be hard. God. I think the Pats, if they get home field, there's no way they lose. And they're going to get it because they have that division that gives them free wins every year.
Right.
So that's the thing. I got Pats coming out of that. All right, let's move on to the NFC. Where do you want to start?
Let's go to the North.
North. NFC North. Okay, so NFC North, last year, division standings were as follows. You had the Minnesota Vikings. They went 13-3, led the division. The Detroit Lions going 9-7. Green Bay going 7-9. Chicago Bears going 5-11. Who you got?
I am taking the Green Bay Packers. I think this is going to be a great race to the finish. I think Packers take it by maybe a game. We go Packers, Vikings. Every year I go back to the well with the Lions. Every single year. I think this is the year that finally out. No, it's not. I'm going to go Packers, Vikings, Lions. Lions up 3.
All right, I know you have Matthew Stafford on your fantasy team. I know that's why you wanted to pick them. I know how you work, but no. I got the Packers and Vikings. Here's the thing. Rodgers just got paid 4 years, $100 million, $134 million, $100 million guaranteed. I think Jimmy Graham's going to help out a little bit in the end zone. I think it'll be pretty good for them, hopefully, as long as he's healthy and stuff. And I think their defense is improving a little. They've got an interesting run game. Decent receivers who, honestly, it doesn't matter who the receivers are when you have Aaron Rodgers. But I think that I'm getting a good feeling about how, I don't mean to celebrate this, but them firing their GM, to me, felt like, okay, like Green Bay as an organization is kind of realizing, all right, we can't just only rely on Aaron Rodgers every year. So we're going to actually make changes, and we're going to start with the GM. And I think that they're trying to put more of a well-rounded squad around him. And I think that's what we're going to see. I think the Vikings are better on paper. I just think that Rodgers might have one of those years where he's just like, yeah, by the way, I'm the best in the league.
No, I think Rodgers, fresh off that, what was it, 170, 134.
As long as I don't trade for him in our fantasy league again, he should be good.
Vikings, I think. So that is partly where this comes from, but rooting against the Vikings was just something I have to do. So that's pretty much 50% of the reason I'm going with.
You don't like your guy Dalvin Cook? That's your boy.
That?
That's your boy, Dalvin Cook.
I know. Which, I don't know why I took him. Because I told you, as soon as I took him, I said, why did I do that? I'm rooting against him the whole year.
It's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait.
I'm excited to watch the Bears.
The Bears are weird. I mean,
believe it or not.
Another team that I hate, like I said, a lot of teams I hate this year. I hate the Bears because it just annoys me that Mitch Trubisky got taken before Deshaun Watson. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe I'm old school, but when I hear, I mean, I don't watch a lot of college sports, so let me preface it by saying that. I don't know. I just like it when a guy wins a national title against Alabama in the best league in the country for college football versus the guy who's played 8 games for UNC. I don't know. It's just a thought that maybe you take the guy who's really proven himself versus the guy who looks good mechanically and all these things. I guess he might have potential. I don't know. It just really annoys me. And then what happens? Deshaun Watson's like the best rookie quarterback we've ever seen. So I just think that was a ridiculous thing. That they were like, oh, he's played 8 games. I'm like, who does work in the NFL? This doesn't make any sense. Why does this happen every year? Everybody always talks themselves into not the guy that should be good. I don't know.
Hey,
I'm done. I'm sorry.
You were raised to think that all these guys are smart,
Mm-hmm.
all these GMs and all these media writers. Turns out that a lot of them aren't.
A lot of them aren't. Well said. But yeah, I've got Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions. I have the Lions finishing last. I think this is the year that the Lions can't kind of scrounge up random wins.
Yeah,
I just feel like they do that every year. I think it's going to happen.
I feel like you're right, but I had to see it before I can make that take, just because
they'll probably
that Lions team has taken me for a wild ride these last 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, they're just such an average team, and I think there has to be a point when they don't go 9-7. I just think it has to come at some point. And I think the Bears improve a little bit. I like their new coach. I like their running backs a lot. Some of their receivers are okay, like Miller. I think that they might get a little better. Their defense is improving. It smells like a team that is due to not be terrible, if that makes sense. All right. But yeah, we're going to do NFC East, but not just yet. We're going to take a quick 30-second break. NFC East, probably the most exciting division because it's your team. And I'm excited to hear what you have to say. So,
stay tuned.
So we'll be right back, guys. Stay tuned. 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. And we're back on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Me and my friend Mike Cavalier. We're talking divisions, NFL predictions. We're on the NFC East now. Since this is the team with your division, I mean, wow. Oh my gosh. Since this is the division with your team, you start us off.
Well, with Philadelphia Eagles beat the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 52. Tom Brady dropped it and then proceeded to pummel it. So, I don't think there's anything else that has to be said. I'm taking Philly to win this division again. And, after that, who really cares?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I'm going to make you annoyed right now. I got Washington winning this division. Then I got Philly. Then New York. Then the Cowboys. I 100%.
I'm sorry, hold on. No, I think my headphones are wrong. Let me fix this real quick. Can you repeat that? Can you say that again?
I have the Washington professional football team winning this division.
That's interesting. There must be something wrong because I keep hearing you say the Washington professional football team is winning this division.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're hearing.
All
right, this is my annual. I'm going to pretend that I never said this prediction. This is the prediction that I'm going to pretend after it turns out wrong that I never said it. But I actually do have some reasoning. I have a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you do.
I really like Alex Smith. And
well, that's all it took. Good, convince me.
And I think that Jay Gruden is I don't want to say not the best. He's not the best coach. I just think every year he's been kind of consistent. He's made some weird decisions every now and then, but their schedule, they've got Arizona, then Indy. Green Bay is a loss for sure. I don't think Carolina's going to be as good this year, which we'll get into a little bit. I like that team. I don't know what it is. I like that Peterson's there. I just feel like it's giving random mojo in their favor. And
no one has ever said that in the history of watching football.
And also, Carson Wentz is kind of hurt. It's possible he just misses some games, and maybe they keep him out a little bit longer. All right, you know what? I'm going to stop BSing. I don't actually have them winning the division. I have Philly and then Washington, though. That I do have. I have Philly taking this.
You're all pretty high on Washington. I'm surprised there. I have them coming last.
Really?
Yeah.
I have Dallas last.
I think it goes Philly, I'm actually going to put New York second.
Really? Okay. I mean, I could see it. The Giants
top.
could do that. Dude, the Giants could go 10-6.
I like what the Giants did this offseason. I think that, you know me, I'm no fan of Eli. I think he's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's over the hill. And
you and my dad both.
We could see another year decline. But if he puts that decline, if he doesn't regress as much as he did last year.
Have a Blake Bortles season, basically. Yeah, have a Blake Bortles season, basically. Where it's like you don't do anything to make the team lose, and you've got great position players around you, like Beckham, Sterling Shepard, and their running back, who hopefully is going to be awesome. And they basically just put up like at least 20 points a game, and you'll be fine. I could see this is a team who went like I forgot what they went 2 years ago, but they lost to the Packers in Lambeau. Like they were good, and I think people forget how much they regressed like so dramatically last year because their defense gave up, their offense couldn't run a play. There's just a lot of locker room problems. I think I hated their coach. I could see that though. I could see that's actually more likely, in all honesty, that the Giants finish second. But I'm still just going to go with my Eagles, Washington, Giants, Cowboys for now. I think that I like Alex Smith, and I think that team's going to ride for him.
I think that's fair.
I think Kirk was like more fantasy friendly than real life friendly. I was just watching him, and every time you wanted to see him make a great, amazing play, it just felt like he didn't. That's just me though. And I like Kirk Cousins. So yeah, any other things on your professional Philadelphia Eagles? How's Carson Wentz looking?
Carson Wentz hasn't been cleared for contact yet. First couple weeks of the season might be a little tough. Alshon Jeffrey's missing in the first 2 games. Should be back for week 3.
Right.
Carson Wentz, who knows? I'm not too worried if, I have to see what the newest reports are with him.
All right, hurry up. Taking too long. You know he's going to be fine. He's going to be great.
Philly 60.
All right, there you go. So yeah, we're pretty much in agreement there. Where do you want to go next? NFC West?
Go to the South.
South? Okay.
Yeah,
this is a fun division, dude.
Let's talk about the New Orleans Saints.
Okay. Wait, really quickly. Last year's results from the division last year. New Orleans finished first with an 11-5 record, followed by Carolina, also 11-5 record, and then Atlanta at 10-6, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 5-11. Go on.
I think this goes New Orleans, Atlanta, Carolina, Tampa. I think New Orleans was good last year. I think they got better this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Falcons, it's always tough to bet against Julio Jones, but I don't think they have enough to get past the Saints. I think they'll be close, but I think the talent and depth that New Orleans has is just enough to take this division. Carolina at 3 and Tampa at 4. I think Tampa is just they're going to be near the bottom of the season.
Right, I feel you. I've got, for my standings though, I've got Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Buccaneers. I think Buccaneers are a bottom 3 team this year. They don't have Jameis for the first 3 games. They were awful with him anyway. I've been out on Jameis ever since last year's game against the Pats on Thursday. And yeah, I know people tend to play it poorly on Thursday. But the Patriots were awful. They couldn't move the ball at all. Brady looked like he was going to break someone's head somehow. I don't know what he was going to do. Like he's Khan from Star Trek Into Darkness. And then Jameis Winston looked just dumbfounded. He's like, wait, guys are too open. Do I throw it to them or do I throw it 6 feet over their head? I was out on him. I'm like, dude, the Patriots were awful at the beginning of the season. They had no defense. People were expecting you to be good. And it's not like you don't have any receivers. And then he just overthrows everybody for the entire game. To the point where the Pats won the game, and I've never seen Bill Belichick that mad before. After a regular season game. He looked so frustrated. He knows they should have lost. If they were playing any other team in the NFL besides, Cleveland, they would have won. Or lost, I mean. So that's my thing on Tampa. I think they're going 3-13, honestly. For anything else, I love the Saints.
It wouldn't surprise me if they won even less than 3 games, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so another team, I hate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Another team I hate, the Atlanta Falcons. I have them coming second, more so because I think the Panthers are this weird every other year team. I don't really have much evidence to say why they won't be as good this year, aside from this is a team who went to the Super Bowl and then didn't make the playoffs the next year. Then they were great again last year. They're just kind of like this every other year. They're like the James Bond movies that have come out recently with Daniel Craig, where some of them are great and then the next one's bad. That's kind of how I've described the Panthers. And then the Falcons, I just think they have a lot of talent, and I think that nobody's talking about them right now. I hate them, though, because Matt Ryan didn't get nearly as much blame for how terrible he was last year. Instead, people kept talking about Cam Newton for reasons, and I just thought he was terrible. I thought that offensive coordinator didn't know what he was doing, and they were just like, we have a great wide receiver, let's just not throw to him. I don't know, but the run game's good. I think they'll be a little bit improved on defense. I just don't understand how people are going to stop them enough for them to not at least win, like, maybe 9 games, I guess. Whatever. Either way, though, this is gonna be, in my opinion, this is like the funnest division in the NFL this year.
I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you want to move on to the last division?
Let's do it.
All right, NFC West. Last year, the LA Rams, to a shock to everybody, they actually had a real head coach last year. They won the division going 11-5, led by Sean McVay as the new head coach, Mr. Millennial. Then the Seattle Seahawks coming in second at 9-7. The Cardinals, I totally forgot, they went 8-8, and then the 49ers went 6-10. So the thing with this division, it all is.
Before we start, I want to say that I forgot to make fun of John Gruden.
Oh yeah.
I'll be on. I'm sure I'll be on later in the year where I can do some of that. But John Gruden will not be a good football coach. That's all I have to say.
Hey, I agree with you, and that's why I just think they're gonna win. I hate it. I'm not looking forward to it, dude. Although I love Marshawn Lynch. I hate the Raiders, but yeah, for this division, this is very top heavy. I think we're both gonna agree the Rams first. Correct?
Yep.
All right, so we both got the Rams first. It's a really tough schedule for them at the beginning, though. They have Oakland, then Arizona, then they play the Chargers, Vikings, Seahawks. Then maybe I'm overestimating it, actually. It depends on how what's their faces are. It depends on how Oakland is. I don't know what to expect from them, but I just think they bring in Marcus Peters, Ndamukong Suh, Aqib Talib. Maybe it's possible they get some chemistry issues because those guys are these big personalities for sure, especially Marcus Peters lately throwing flags into the crowd or whatever he did on the Chiefs last year. But I just think they're stacked literally everywhere. They feel very Houston Astros to me, where there's no discernible point on this team you can point to where it's like, yeah, they need to improve there. The only thing that they need to improve with is just to win more games than they did last year. I think last year was their coming out party. They've stolen the city of L.A. By stolen, I mean they had it pretty easily. The Chargers gave it up. I think they get this pretty easily. What about you?
Yeah, I think that this is an easy call. The Rams are going to win this division. Sean McVay is, a top 5 coach in the league already, behind Doug Peterson at number 1, of course.
I have a question. Doug Peterson. I have a question, though.
I'm not going to answer it, probably.
Was Sean McVay that good, or was it that Jeff Fisher was just that bad?
I think it's both.
Think it's both? Because I just think it's very suspect that they go 7-9 every single year, 6-10 some years, and immediately with not much turnover with the roster, they go 11-5, and they were like a Super Bowl favorite at one point. And Jared Goff, by the way, was looked at as a bust. I just think that tells you they had an awful, awful coach. I like Sean McVay. I love rooting for people who the only thing people complain about them is that they're young. I love it. I love betting on people like that all the time. They're like, I don't know, he's really young, man. Can millennials pay attention? Whatever. So I got the Rams winning that. Then I've got Seattle. Seattle coming in second, yeah. Then the Niners and then the Cardinals. So here's the thing. I think the Niners are getting too much hype, too much of a bandwagon. I think they're a little bit up and down this year. I like Jimmy, but I think they're a little bit up and down. I don't think he's going to become Aaron Rodgers in his first year. People have to remember he only played a few games for them last year, and he looked great, and they didn't lose, but still they only played a little bit. I don't know if it's this year. I think Seattle wins like 9 games because I don't think they're quite as awful as they are. They still have Russell Wilson, still some good position skill players like Doug Baldwin, Bobby Wagner, Earl Thomas should be there still on the defense. Their defense is going to be a problem. I think their line might be slightly better, even if it is probably like a bottom 8 line in the league. So Russell Wilson has to watch out. I just think they find a way to score a bunch of points, and I don't think that people realize that this division's not that good. And I think that the Seahawks can kind of sneak in there and be in contention. Everybody's kind of writing them off. Justifiably so, but I don't think it happens.
I did exactly that. I wrote them off. I have them coming in last. I think it's going to go Los Angeles, Arizona, San Francisco, Seattle.
Fair.
I think it's another one of those divisions that I would not be surprised. Outside of Los Angeles, if you can essentially pick out of a hat and make an argument for the next three teams.
Yeah. I don't know about the Cardinals, though. Bradford's going to get hurt, and Rosen still has to, practice and stuff. Yeah, I don't know, though. They're not a bad team. They did go 8-8. I keep forgetting that. It's not like they were terrible. I thought they were terrible last year. I don't know why I thought that. They weren't nearly as bad as I thought they were. 8-8 is, you know, it means that you were middle of the road. You were mediocre. I thought they were 5-11. I was wrong. All right, so that's the NFC West. Who you got coming out of the NFC?
I mean, what kind of question is that? I have coming out of the NFC. It's the Philadelphia Eagles.
I mean, Philly. I remember when we were in AC and you were telling me about the odds for the Super Bowl. Philly was a little bit lower than they should have. This is the Super Bowl championship winning team. They added Michael Bennett. Yeah, Carson Wentz is hurt, but there's nothing that changed. And a lot of their is a young core. They're not I forgot how old Wentz is right now, but it doesn't matter. There's not much turnover. They could be I don't want to say dynasty, but they're one of those teams who's probably going to sustain their success for a little bit. I don't think this is Denver.
I feel like you just defined a dynasty.
You know what I mean. Dynasty's you're winning the Super Bowl every year.
Well,
this is the part where you make that face. Yeah.
No, I know what you mean, but I do think that Philly is set up, perfectly for the next 3 to 4 years. And they're going to be the favorite in the NFC. I think barring something unforeseen, they're going to be the favorites in the NFC for the next at least 3 years. Fair. I think.
All right. I've got the Rams. I've got the Rams. I like that team.
Listen, that's going to be a fun.
This is, you know what would happen here? I think whoever comes out of this, they need the home field. If the Rams have home field, I think they win. If Philly does, I think they win. I think whoever has home field in the playoffs is going to win. It's one of those. The Pats, if the Pats are going to win no matter what, but the only way they lose is if they don't have home field. But I can't really say any other AFC team. Say the Broncos make it, I could still see the Broncos just getting stomped on by the Pats in the playoffs or whoever. Chargers, whoever. But for the NFC, I think whoever has home field goes to the Super Bowl. So yeah, I'm going Rams, you're going Eagles, and I'm assuming you have the Eagles winning the Super Bowl again.
Fun NFC Championship game.
Yeah, I would love a rematch between Philly and New England. By the way, that'd be fun.
Oh, that would be so fun.
More great footage of people losing their mind in the streets of Philly. That'll be awesome.
You know what? I think that's a once in a lifetime thing. That's the first championship Philadelphia saw since the Phillies won. But people don't get rowdy for a baseball championship. I think that's an Eagles championship meant a lot to that city and a first one ever. And so I think that no one's going to lose their mind again as bad. People are going to lose their mind, but people are still trying to find their minds from that night. I think
trying to find their minds. That's a good way of saying it. All right, but yeah, you're gonna cry again on Snapchat like you did before.
Well, that's the thing. I asked myself this question because I've thought about it, and I think if the Eagles win again, I don't think I will.
All right.
If the Sixers when the Sixers win, I think I will.
I'm concerned for your well-being if the Sixers win. I think you might just completely go nuts.
You won't see me ever again.
All right, for sure. But that was our NFL predictions, guys. After this, having the girls call in, we're going to talk about the Marvel movies. Do you want to try and hop on that too, sir, for the Skype call? Or do you not have time?
I'll text you.
You'll text me? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, Mike Cavalier might be back. I don't know. Hopefully he's not because he did stab me in the back and not show up today. So honestly, this is just my revenge and not having part of this conversation. But yeah, we're going to take a little bit of a break. Going to try and get this Skype call working, and then when we get back, we're going to be talking Marvel movies. And I'm going to give my official MCU rankings. It's going to be fun. You haven't even heard these, Kev. You haven't even heard them.
I have not.
Yeah, you have not. It's going to be great, guys. All right, so yeah, you're tuned in to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Your boy Javi Reyes, the Digital Dash. Stay lit, everybody. Be back. And what's up, everybody? We're back here on the Digital Dash, 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. And it took a lot of bait to yo, stop. Had to figure this out. Took a while to set it up. But calling in via Skype. Let me just get this set up really quickly. Yo, stop making faces. Hold on 1 second. Let me put that on. Put a button right there. And can you guys talk 1 second?
Hi.
Testing.
Yes. All right, we're good.
We're
good.
in.
All right, live with me now via Skype, calling in from Skype from 2 undisclosed locations. My friends Radha, Varma, and Kayla, Marcato. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Why are we in undisclosed locations?
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't know if you wanted to reveal it or not. That's how I lead every guest. I don't know. Some people are. Cav never wants people to know where he is, so you never know.
Well, I mean,
That's sus.
What?
I'm at Villanova University.
All right.
#1 business school in the country. Am I
Yeah.
right, ladies?
All right. So yeah, if you guys want to give like an introduction to the audience, you could say that. Whatever you want. You could literally just say I run a business. I don't care what you guys say. Like it just doesn't matter. I was gonna say something else. I was gonna say your bio on your Instagram.
Well, we both went abroad. Start with.
Oh, true. That's a good
No, we're not starting there. Don't you dare. That is not how we're starting this.
When we went to Florence.
Anyway, so basically me, Kayla, Radha, and our friend Cavalier, who you guys heard before when we were talking about the NFL, we just randomly kind of decided to watch all the Marvel movies this summer. I'm not really
because
sure.
I haven't seen them.
Right.
because
You started it basically, right, Radha?
Yeah, because I saw Deadpool when I was with you and Cav, and that's when I made that really stupid comment.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, oh my god, I want to see all of them. And now
Wasn't
we're
the
here.
last stupid comment you made. I'm sorry. I'm not going to
Deadpool
lie.
2.
Deadpool.
So, yeah. When I say Marvel movies, by the way, just to clarify, I'm talking the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies by Marvel Studios, not the... I mean, we saw these too, us, but not the Deadpools, the X-Men movies, not all of the Spider-Man movies. It's just starting with the original Iron Man. We started from there. And we skipped
Or
one.
Captain America, the First Avenger.
Yeah. So, basically, we watched all of them pretty... Honestly, it's kind of remarkable how many we fit in 2 months. I have to admit, like, it's the more I think about it, it's impressive. Yeah, don't give me that face. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, us being the only 2 girls in this friend group, it took a lot of planning because the 3 boys did not care for any
All
of
right,
it.
whoa, hold on a second.
It was a lot of running around trying to get them to listen to us. So. All
right, so first of all, you're right, and
Yeah.
second of all, to be fair, there were a lot of schedule conflicts. Okay, come on, I had classes at one point. Kayla had her internship thing. You were working until 3 a.m. apparently at some points.
Doing sleep most days.
Cleaning some butts at a nursing home. Yeah, the usual.
But yeah, so what we're going to do today is basically just have a discussion about the Marvel movies, the MCU. All of us did our rankings. I have not shared with Kayla or Radha my rankings yet. They shared theirs with me. I don't know if you guys made any changes. I'm assuming you didn't.
I made one, but when I posted it on my Finsta, I made sure I posted my change.
A Finsta is a fake Instagram, by the way. Kayla indeed has a fake Instagram.
That will not be revealed to the audience.
That will be disclosed.
Yeah, that can't reveal that to the audience. God forbid they find that one out. All the evil stuff you post on there. So yeah, you want me to just start and say what mine is from worst to best?
Yeah, I'd like to know.
I'm
How do you
nervous.
think our reactions are going to be, good or bad?
Let me see. I think you'll like my top ones. You're not gonna like some of my bottom ones. I think. I don't know.
Okay.
All right. So for me, starting from worst to best. Hold on, I said that right? Yeah. Okay. So for me, my least favorite of them, Thor: The Dark World, followed by Avengers: Age of Ultron, then Iron Man 2, then Thor, then The Incredible Hulk.
Iron Man pretty late though. I don't know. I wasn't expecting.
Let me finish my list,
Sorry,
Kayla.
Whoa,
Jeez.
there.
All right.
Whoa.
This is my show, man.
Shots are being fired, and we've only been on for less than like 5
You love
minutes.
Iron Man though.
No,
Not-
but
I
I
said
feel
Iron
like he
Man
likes
2.
other ones more. That's the thing. Like
Yeah,
he could really
I'll get
like
into that. I'll get into that. So Thor, then The Incredible Hulk, then Doctor Strange, then Ant-Man, then Guardians of the Galaxy, Iron Man 3, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain America: The First Avenger, Captain America: Civil War, Avengers: Infinity War, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Iron Man 1, and now for the top 5, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Thor: Ragnarok, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, The First Avengers, and then number 1, Black Panther.
Same.
Where do you want to start? What's your guys' reactions?
Iron Man 2. It's very low.
Really?
I had Iron Man 2 low as well.
Iron Man 2 is my least favorite movie.
It's my least favorite I mean, Age of Ultron was my least favorite just because I did fall asleep during it. So I can't really have an opinion about it. So that's my stance.
I mean, it's a fair stance. Like, it's important to stay awake when you're watching movies, I think.
Shut up, Javi.
There was a great moment where we were watching Thor: The Dark World, and Radha fell asleep. And, Radha's working really hard. I'm not going to give her too much crap for that. But
Thank you.
She just randomly in her sleep turns her face and looks at me dead in the eye. And I thought it was like a scene out of Insidious or something. I thought that was it. I was really convinced that was it. The movie is literally about dark elves and dark creatures and dark energy. So I thought maybe she got possessed. She was method acting. I don't know. But we made it out. We made it out okay.
I mean, it goes to show that if I can't stay up during them, they weren't the greatest movies.
That's fair.
So,
the world revolves around you,
Yeah, no, completely. It's my world. You're just living in it.
Absolutely.
Do you remember which one I fell asleep during?
Yeah, you fell asleep during Thor, the first Thor.
Thor, right?
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah, because then you and Cav both woke up, and Kayla just shoots up going, "Oh my God, the movie's over. Did I fall asleep during that?" Obviously.
Which says a lot about the first Thor.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't dislike that movie. I just, was tired that day.
Yeah,
I mean, it's on my list, I guess.
I mean, for me, that's one of the dilemmas with it. There hits a point on my list where I'm like, I just like certain movies more than others. I don't hate some of these things. Doctor Strange I have low. I don't hate that movie, though. I have some problems with it, but it's just
Doctor Strange is the second to last on my list, mainly because, I just didn't like the storyline of it, which I know some people, will think differently, but I just didn't. I don't like the whole magic part of it. But then when it came into play in Infinity War, I was like, okay, this is, cool.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, I liked him a lot better.
I liked him better in, a full,
We're getting into Infinity War for sure in a second. For me, how I've always viewed them, all 19 that they're on, including Ant-Man and the Wasp that just came out the most recently. The way I view it is there's kind of a consensus of which movies people think are the best. Not going by what I say, but just most people say the first Avengers, Black Panther, Infinity War, Thor, Spider-Man are some of the best, right? And I think after that, there's maybe 2 ones that everyone agrees are just bad movies, and then everything in the middle kind of just depends on who your favorite characters are.
Yeah.
If you ride for Doctor Strange, then you're word, that's my one. Like our friend Alex, who I have his list, by the way, if you wanted to make fun of his. We can do that later, actually.
I thought he sent it to us already.
I don't know. I think he did, but he had a lot of changes. I don't know if he changed it or not. That's the thing. I'm not really sure. But that's how I view it. What do you guys think was... I'm sorry?
That's how my list is, because I just like Captain America, so...
Yeah, I know. You like Captain America, and then you don't like Iron Man because you see too much of yourself in him.
It's too real.
I feel like a lot of my list, which now that I'm looking at it, it's it kind of goes... See, I'm not, a huge Avengers fan. Javi, Javi would call out the Stan Lee alerts,
Oh, yeah.
So
One thing I would do... There were a lot of things said during these rewatches. Some things cannot be said on air, some of the things that were said. And other things...
Some of the fights that were dealt with.
The fights, there were things thrown at others.
Oh, my God.
There were certain things that might be taken as... I don't know, insensitive comments is the way to put it, that were made.
They weren't meant insensitively.
To certain people.
They weren't necessarily... Yeah, I'm just not going to take my own
just
But I have a question, because back to what I was saying before. What do you... I'm going to sound so stupid when I ask this. What do you call the 3 different,
Trilogy?
Yes.
What do you mean, the phases?
No, the phases, yes.
Oh, phase 1, phase 2.
Now that I'm looking at my list, a lot of the ones from Phase 3 are at the top of my list.
Yeah.
And I think that's because I was telling Kayla this. I think when Ant-Man came out and we watched Ant-Man, I liked how they changed the style of movie that they turned, like, Marvel into a more, like, comedic, like, less serious, like, I don't know. I stayed awake during all of them, so that's a plus. I just preferred, like, looking at my list, my top 5, from bottom to top, it's Guardians 2, Ragnarok, Infinity War, Spider-Man, and Black Panther. They were all released around one another, and I just feel like, personally, the older movies weren't my type of movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
The older movies, they don't age perfectly well. I still love Iron Man because I think that's the one that started it. Not to give points for the first movie, but Iron Man...
It definitely got people talking.
Yeah, and you have to keep... The fascinating thing about Iron Man is that around this time, most superhero movies, it was the Spider-Man. You had Batman movies, some of them, with Michael Keaton.
It was just different,
some X-Men movies. Like, they were very serious, and they all were very kind of idealistic heroes, right? And then here comes this guy who's just a jerk. You know what I mean? Like, at the time when that movie came out, and also, Robert Downey Jr., people forget sometimes, he was basically just a tabloids piece. That's all he was in the news for. And when he got announced as Tony Stark, a lot of people were skeptical for good reason. The guy had a lot of substance abuse issues. It was the ultimate gamble that paid off for them, and it's still paying off for them. I still think he is their best actor in this entire series, for now anyway. But...
Yeah, I don't think I'd actually disagree with that.
Yeah,
no,
I think out of every single actor, he's, like, the biggest, like, I don't know.
Like that's an actor. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Iron Man...
In an actor standpoint,
I mean, Iron Man made him in the sense that it saved his career. Everybody always knew Robert Downey Jr. had a lot of talent. If you saw movies like Zodiac, Back to School, some old TV shows from the 80s that aren't on air, obviously, anymore. But he was great. Like, he was highly regarded in the acting community, but he couldn't stay off of his, personal demons and stuff. Which is what I love. What I love so much about Iron Man is that's kind of what that story is about, where it's where it's this guy who has so much talent, and in real life it's his acting, and in the movie it's that he's a genius, and he basically falls into a bad situation, and is saved because of how good they are, and then kind of redeem themselves. So I feel like that character actually it kind of connects well with his own personal life, which is why I think the movie came out so well. As we approach the top of the hour here.
Basically.
Yeah, as we approach the top of the hour here at 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, we're talking MCU stuff and all of our observations with my friends Radha and Kayla calling in from Skype.
Friends.
What did she say?
She goes, friends. How? She's happy that you called us your friends.
Have I never said that?
We just spent an entire summer together. We deserve that title.
Yeah, I know. It's an honor I don't bestow on everybody. All right, so there you go. So I still like the first Iron Man. I think that a lot of these movies, like you were saying with Ant-Man before, that's where like the comedy kind of came out. That's when they started being less serious. When that movie came out, I remember like that was the movie everyone thought, okay, this is the one that's going to be bad. This is the one they're going to miss on.
An ant.
Oh,
yeah.
I
Who thinks an ant is cool? Like, I'm sorry.
That's one of the ones I never saw because it kind of looks dumb. Like,
Shannon. Yeah. Okay, so we have this one other friend, Shannon. When we first started this movie marathon or whatever, she was like, "Oh my god, I love Ant-Man," because that was the only one that she actually saw, and I was like, "What the heck?" Like, out of all 18 of these movies, Ant-Man was the only one you saw, and you love it.
That is a random one.
But Shannon, okay, not that anyone watches The Bachelorette, but she also thought James F. was gonna win. Regardless, she has a very weird taste. So I was like, okay, let me give some faith in her opinion and give Ant-Man a try, and it ended up coming quite high on my list, number 7.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, kudos to them.
Yeah. I think the key with Ant-Man was that was the first character that was just a guy.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, he's smart. He had that master's in chemical engineering he mentions at the beginning of the movie. When he's like, I'll be fine, and then it shows him, it cuts to him working at Baskin Robbins.
Yeah.
Like, he's smart, but it's also like he's just a guy. He just wants to see his daughter. It was the first movie to be very much like, oh, I get it, like I see that. And I think that's part of why it came out so well. And also, I didn't know. I kind of just trust Marvel forever. Here's my theory. I think ever since they made a talking tree and a talking raccoon into some of the most iconic characters in pop culture right now. Ever since they successfully did that, I don't think they know how to make a bad movie anymore. I'm always in. I don't care. They could do a movie on like Spawn or Moon Knight, characters you guys probably haven't heard of, and I'd be like all in. Or Squirrel Girl, real character. They could do that. I'd be like, yeah, it's probably going to be good. And Guardians is another one where I don't even call that a superhero movie. I think it's lazy when people just call all of these things just superhero movie, like a genre. I think it's a lazy caricature. Because if Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't Marvel, I don't think people would be like, yeah, that was a superhero movie. It's this space opera ragtag group of guys.
They would compare it more towards like Star Wars in a sense.
Yeah, it'd be like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
we tweeted about that the other day, and that I was thinking about that because I definitely am one of those people who just call it superhero movies purely because it's Marvel. But
is this your friend that just quoted me on Twitter? Let me see. I don't know. Alicia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just quoted it.
Alicia, that's a dig.
Alicia.
I'm sorry. All right. Hey, I'm doing like 8 things over here, okay? That's my thing. What other questions do you guys have for me, if any? Or I could just keep going. Of my list.
Of your list?
Yeah.
Where did you have Spider-Man again?
I had Spider-Man
at
5.
That surprised me. I thought they'd be number 1 for you.
Yeah, I know. I love Spider-Man. I mean,
that's the love
of my life.
I think I'm with Javi. I think Spider-Man is my favorite, like character, like movie. Like Black Panther was my number 1 just because I liked the story of it. It was just a very well done movie. But Spider-Man, if Black Panther wasn't in existence, Spider-Man would be number 1.
The thing
I just love how
is it number 2?
He's relatable.
So yeah,
he's like this dorky kid in like high school that's just like, I'm Mr. Iron Man, let me help you. And it's like,
let me help you.
Something that's interesting that I think they did with Spider-Man, which I think we talked about a little bit, is they didn't really give like a backstory on him.
Yeah, that was good.
Which is interesting because they've done so many movies. Like I've seen that backstory so many times, but I don't know if you've seen the other Spider-Man movies.
No.
It's kind of interesting how they just jump right into it, but I kind of liked it.
I liked it because they've made like 3 reboots of the Spider-Man movies, and I think everyone didn't want to see, okay, here's the thing with Uncle Ben again. And here's the thing with this. How is he going to make his thing? Let's just jump in. And I like that. And also, they made him a kid, and they literally casted a kid. Tom Holland was, I believe, 18 at the time of getting it in Civil War.
Is he our age? Is he 21 now?
He's 21 now. Yeah, he's 21
now.
We
looked it up.
But when he first appears in Civil War, he was like 19, which is cool, and it like makes sense. Don't cast Tobey Maguire, who's like 65, and have him this weird. I mean, I like those movies, but they're flawed. I think that also. Little note about Spider-Man Homecoming. Low-key, very diverse movie. Like, very low-key. Fun supporting characters of all types. Yeah. I like the kids on his academic team. They're really funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love those kids. He's like, man, it was like a Bon Jovi concert. Like, I love that dude. I love the one person who corrects Flash Thompson. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You guys, I don't know if you guys know this. Flash Thompson is a key character in Spider-Man, like his stories, where he's the big bully. But in this, they just made him a jerk, and some people I talked to were split on that because, like in the comics, he would like punch him and beat him up and bully him and stuff, and then there would be a moment where when he got his powers, he can like fight back and whatnot. But in this, they just made him kind of a jerk kid who's also a nerd too because he's on this academic team, I guess. And I like that because this image of the playground bully who stuffs people into lockers, I just don't think that happens anymore. I really don't. I think people are more clever than that. Like, you got to give kids more credit for being mean. I think there's a little more nuance to bullying out there.
And now that social media's here, no one really cares about the lockers. They're like, oh my God, what did she post on Instagram?
Yeah, like there was the Amazing Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield back in like 2012. And there's literally a point when he's like picking up this kid, Flash, and like dumping his head into food. And everyone's cheering and like, go Flash, or whatever. And then Peter Parker comes in and he's like, hey, put him down, Flash, put him down. You're like, what? And then he runs up and just punches him in the face. And everyone's like, ugh. I'm like, there's no way that happens anymore. This isn't the Mad Max universe where everyone's like scrounging for food. So I like that they made him this just mean kid. But it's not like he was, I mean, maybe there is other things that we don't know that happen off screen where they pick to fight it with each other. But I don't know. I really like that personally. And I like Ned. I thought he was really funny. The whole thing about his porn scene was really funny. Porn scene isn't when he pretends that, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. And everything in between. I like the supporting cast. I like the villain reveal, meaning the Vulture. Like when you figure out it's his. That's classic Amazing Spider-Man / Ultimate Spider-Man run of comics where Peter Parker has to deal with all this nonsense. Where it's like, oh, he's taking a girl to prom. Oh, wait, she's a supervillain. Like just random things that other characters don't deal with. And that's what I think made the movie really special. I like it more and more every time I see it.
I have a comment on it. I think I really like Zendaya from saying her name right. But I felt like I'm sure maybe in the comics like she has more of an importance, but
she does.
I thought the character in the movie just was kind of dumb. Like I mean not dumb, but like I felt like she didn't really serve a purpose, but maybe it's setting it up for a sequel or something, but she just really wasn't playing a purpose in the movie.
So she's basically played like that irreverent millennial all sarcasm type of thing, and I liked it. It was funny. But
I liked it. I didn't dislike it. I just felt like they took this big name like Zendaya and then didn't really like gave her kind of a like I thought she'd have more of a role in the movie.
I think that's what the sequel is going to be about. Zendaya's too big of a personality for them to just have her as like this number 7 role.
Maybe they were just like dipping their toe into the water, like, ooh, let's see how people react to this.
Oh, she's Mary Jane.
Yeah, you didn't catch that?
No.
At the end of the movie, when they say, yay, you know, she's the new head of the team or whatever, and she's like, oh, my friends call me MJ. That's what they're referring to.
Oh.
Got it.
I just got it.
So she's set up for a bigger role, for sure. Obviously, for people who know Mary Jane Watson, the love of Peter Parker's life, of course. That's going to be interesting. I like that they really just wanted to have a good movie, and they didn't want to set up too many things, I think. Just introduce you. It's hard to introduce characters when you're not doing an origin story necessarily. So that's
I liked it. I liked the way they did it.
Me too. Yeah. So you know what? We're going to take a quick little 1-minute break, and when we get back, I want to talk about my number 1, Black Panther. Somehow we didn't talk about the one I ranked first overall. I don't know how that happened, but it happened.
We talked about number 2.
Yeah, so that was strange. All right, but we'll be right back after this, guys. You're tuned into the Digital Dash here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. And we're back here on the Digital Dash 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. I'm talking with my friends Kayla and Radha, who, I don't know, they're making strange faces again, I think. I don't know why.
It's our brand.
Calling in via Skype. I teased it before. I want to talk about Black Panther a little bit and why that's my number 1. Here's the thing. Marvel makes a lot of movies that are kind of safe, for the most part, I'd say, which we'll get into some other ones that weren't as. But they make these very safe movies that kind of work for everybody. And Black Panther tackles very serious issues, but it also works as just a superhero movie. It also becomes a spy movie for a little bit, kind of, when they are in that like casino scene early on in the movie. There's cool visuals in the movie. There's a great villain played by Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger, who I think he's the best villain they've ever had. Like probably him and Thanos. It's close. But, and believe me, we'll be talking about Mr. Purple Grape Man in a little bit. I think that Black Panther, it had a lot to say. It was emotional too. When I was watching it with you guys, I kind of was getting choked up at the part where, you know how he enters that, like they put him in the sand and then he enters that astral world place.
Yeah.
When Killmonger does it and he sees his father again.
Oh, yeah, I cried.
That, like, got me, because the part that got me is when he's like, oh, you know, no tears for me, and he says, everybody dies. Like, that hit me in a way that was like, that's really sad. No child should ever be saying they're used to seeing people die. That's just not something you should see. And I think it just worked, and now there's been some online things where people are like, Killmonger was right, and all these things. He was right. He was right about some things. He wasn't right about, let's try and do reverse colonialism. That's not right. That's not what you should take away from the movie. But I think that the message of just not caring about anyone, essentially, which is what Wakanda was doing, and considering what happened to him, I thought was very effective. And I'm in full support for Marvel pushing it for Best Picture at the Oscars next year. I don't know if it's my favorite movie of the year. I don't think it is, actually. But I just think that anybody who says it is, I have no problem with it. I think it's their most complete movie and the movie that has the most to say about the world while also not being like pretentious about it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What's interesting about that movie, and it's not a bad thing, but I feel like it's just like the conflict with like the bad guy and like Black Panther like is so short. Like they spend so much of the movie building it up that it kind of like not run out of time, but there's just not a lot of time like when the other guy's like in power. Like I feel like that was really short part of the movie, which isn't a bad
building,
I thought it was different.
Yeah, if this was like a Netflix series, it would have lasted longer. Like the part where he loses the fight on the cliff and Forrest Whitaker gets stabbed.
I would love to see it as a Netflix series.
Yeah, that was sad too. Like I was, like it's weird. Like when I get emotional about movies and something hits me, it never happens the first time I see a movie. Very rarely. It'll happen on my 8th rewatch. Like I watched Star Trek the other day, and I was just like I was just like losing it. I don't know why. And for this one, I was like, wow. Like they pulled out all the stops. They did really well with a character who, I mean, everyone kind of gives Marvel crap for some of their diversity things, which they deserve it. But it's not like people knew who Black Panther was before Civil War came out. People have to like relax with that. It's just my opinion. And I think they established the character really well, and he's clearly going to be one of the leading forces for them for years to come, I think. What do you guys think?
Well, I think. Well, can I like mention Infinity War right now?
Yeah, you want to get into the Infinity War stuff? I'm so down.
Well, it relates. I know exactly what she's gonna say, and
okay.
I.
Oh, you're talking about the end?
You can go. Well, so for me, I was very upset at the end of an. Is this like spoilers allowed? Like we don't. Care about
by the way, full disclosure, if you guys couldn't tell, there are spoilers on this broadcast.
And we don't care.
Sorry if you haven't. Sorry if you're one of the 3 people that didn't see the highest grossing movie like ever this year.
Hey, that was me not like less than a month ago, okay? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. But that's different, though, because you hadn't seen any of these. And you thought that Deadpool was Spider-Man for a second.
I feel
so.
like
okay, well.
These, and if you're, like, listening to this because you are a fan of these, like, you saw Infinity War.
Yeah.
So, Kayla, get back to what you were going to say.
But anyway, to me, the fact that Black Panther was one of the people who disappeared or disintegrated or whatever at the end of Infinity War was the number one reason that I think these characters have to come back.
Right.
I don't think they're gonna do backstories on Black Panther. I just don't think those would do as well. Like, because the argument is like, oh well, like the characters could all have died. They're just gonna do prequels for the rest of the movies. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and like Spider-Man 2, which I don't know. Is Spider-Man 2? Or is that not confirmed?
What happened?
Never mind. Anyway, well, I just to me, he was the number one reason that they're gonna have to come back because they're gonna have to make more movies with Black Panther.
Right. I think that one of the big complaints about Infinity War is that it didn't take any risks. Now I'm gonna explain because I don't agree with that. But people are saying, "Oh, I'm calling BS on this." When people saw Spider-Man die and they saw Black Panther, one of them being one of the most popular characters in the world, and the other one coming off of a movie that was one of the biggest movies ever made. It's like there's no way they're just going to undo this, which I understand. However, my counter to that would be if Avengers 4 is coming out the next year, I think it's more interesting if you kill the characters, just get rid of them now, the ones you know will be alive. Here's what I mean. Because if you had more characters, like if Spider-Man was alive in the next one, that's more characters that you know aren't going to die. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like now everybody who's left, you kind of can see any of them going because they've been there the longest. You know what I mean? If all of them were left, you're going to be like, oh yeah, none of these people are going to die. It feels like there's, it makes it a little bit more predictable in a way, if that makes any sense. It's hard to explain. And I actually love how it's just the originals that are left pretty much, with the exception of Rocket, which is so weird. He's the only one left of the Guardians, which is so weird.
It was sad seeing Peter Quill leave.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
I wasn't sad. I'm not going to lie. I was still bitter over him messing everything up. But did he mess everything up? Which we'll get into in a second.
Exactly.
Technically, you could argue he actually is the reason they might win, which I'll get into in a little bit. I think that, first of all, the Spider-Man thing hits me every time. If you guys didn't know, that was...
I don't feel so good.
So good.
Yeah. I despise that became a meme. I don't know why it became a meme. It was stupid. There were so many better moments from that movie.
We watched it. I thought this was a bad part.
Yeah, they made it a meme. I was like, come on, guys. Now, for me, that scene hits a lot. And also, that wasn't in the script, him saying he doesn't feel so good and that he doesn't want to go. That was whatever you call it, impromptu, by Tom Holland. I think that kid's going to be an amazing actor, by the way.
And he's so young.
I think they really lucked out with him, and I don't think that they realized it until now. Like, I think they're like, yeah, let's get a good kid for Spider-Man. I think that Tom Holland, they're like, oh my God, like this kid might just be one of the biggest stars we have in Hollywood in like 10 years. And my thing with that scene is, that's why I love Spider-Man, because he's just a kid, and that's what works. Like, that's how a kid would react. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, I love that Tony Stark didn't die. And I know, Kayla, you hate Tony Stark, but
no. But because he didn't die, I'm interested to see like what happens in the next movie with him.
There's clearly a reason he didn't die, because Doctor Strange wouldn't let him die.
I don't think the movies, and I don't, now because all the contracts are up, I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think the movies would be the same without him. So I wasn't sad. I was happy he was still alive.
Yeah. I think that one of the things that happens in that, I think it's actually more sad he didn't die, in a way, because Tony Stark as a character throughout these movies, he started out as this loud, obnoxious, very boisterous, cocky type of character. And now he's turned into this person who is extremely fearful of the world and the potentials of the universe, that all the stuff that is out there. You know, like in Iron Man 3, I like how he has like PTSD essentially in that movie, and he has like nervous breakdowns. And now he's at a point where it's like he thinks because of his intellect that he has to do everything by himself. And I like the idea that essentially this kid who looked up to him like a father figure, like he died. And I think that destroys him. So arguably him not dying was probably a worse fate for Tony Stark at the end of that movie, which is what I liked about it. Now, for the record, when he gets stabbed through the chest there, my theater, I've never heard anything like it. My entire theater was like, ah! Like it was like, like everyone gasped. Even me, I was like, oh man, this is it. Like this is it.
I'm gonna be honest. When I saw it in the theater, I missed that part. I didn't remember it.
You remember what you blacked out?
Kayla was too busy crying over Captain America.
Out at that point. I think I was really like, I don't know.
You just like blacked out that part.
I guess. Yeah, I don't
You're just
remember.
Like, what's going on?
Me being stabbed. Can't remember.
Another thing is like about that movie. What was I gonna say? What was I saying? Look at my notes.
You're talking about Iron Man.
Yeah, there we go. Iron Man, like, he clearly is alive for a reason. That's how I view it. He has to be. And your friend followed me on Twitter.
Alicia?
Yeah.
Alicia.
Shut up. Nice little header there of a spooky looking cat. And what is interesting about that is clearly he has a role for this next movie. I know there's a lot of rumors. There are some rumors that he invents an Infinity Gauntlet. All right, relax. That's not going to happen. Tony Stark is like amazingly smart, probably the smartest character we've seen in superheroes, next to like Batman. I don't even know. I can't even think of another one. Or another. And basically, he's not going to create like other dimensional stuff, but there's a reason he's still there. And I like that. I like that they're kind of teasing you with all these things, because you knew it's got to end with him. He's the one who started it all. It has to end with him.
Yeah, but they're not going to end this.
Yeah, what I mean by this is like this arc, this phase or whatever, and they transition to like new Avengers. What else? I think that I'm sorry, yeah?
Well, this is something different, so maybe you should complete your thought, and then I'll say it.
What's interesting is I actually had Infinity War ranked lower than things like Guardians 2 and the original Iron Man. I think it is I could change my opinion on this movie like tomorrow. It's their most impressive movie. This is a movie that has basically, I'd say, almost every A-lister in Hollywood in it. It's a sequel to basically, essentially it's a sequel to 17 movies. There's never been anything done about like this. And it has characters that, if you told me 10 years ago, the Guardians of the Galaxy would be like these A-list characters played by Chris Pratt, who's an A-lister now, and all these like people, and that Vin Diesel would be voicing Groot. Like, I wouldn't believe that, and I wouldn't even be able to believe Doctor Strange, honestly. I think back in the day, people were like, Marvel was at a point where their properties, the only ones that were valuable, were the X-Men and Spider-Man. That was it. People only cared about the X-Men or Spider-Man. So Sony bought the movie rights to Spider-Man, of course. Fox bought the rights to the X-Men. And back then, people were like, yeah, I kind of know who Iron Man is. Yeah, I kind of know who Captain America is. But nobody really cared. So for you to build that based off of what you had, no Spider-Man, no X-Men, it really just is probably one of the most impressive things ever done in film. I know that all the snobby Oscar people out there will scoff at that notion that superheroes can actually be good, but whatever. They don't know what they're talking about. That's fine. But I just think it's remarkable. I can't believe that you're watching Thor have this, like, interplay with a raccoon, and you're like, yeah, that's Rocket Raccoon. Yeah, I know that dude. Like, everyone's bought into it somehow. I just think it's insane.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what were you going to say?
I mean, you even have a shirt of Groot on it. So,
yeah,
like,
I do. I should have worn it today. I don't know why I didn't wear it today.
Even, like, my friends who, like, haven't seen the movies, like, everyone knows who the characters are.
Yeah.
Like, how.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to interject, like, before, I think, what was it, 2 summers ago, Kayla randomly invited me to go to the movies with her. She's like, oh, yeah, we're going to see Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And I was like, okay, I guess I got to see the first one. So I, like, quickly watched it and then went to the movie, and I loved it. But also at that point, I didn't know who the heck Thanos was until you guys started talking about Infinity War. I was like, wait, it's part of, like, Marvel? I had no idea. And I was about to get up at the end of the movie. I was like, okay, why is no one else getting up? And Kayla's brothers were like, the end credit. Like, they looked at me with such disgust. I was like, wow, I really messed up here.
I can't believe that. It's so funny, like, to think about, like, people who just are voluntarily sitting after the credits of a movie. Usually people are, like, running to the parking lot. And I can't believe that this is a trend where people are like, hey, you gotta wait till the after credits. Like, it's like you see people leaving, you're like, rookies.
And
like,
I didn't know
scoff at them. Yeah.
They had 2 after credits until I started watching them with you guys too. I would only wait for one, and once the one happened, then there's more though.
Then there's more of them. Yeah, well done, well said. So yeah, we're gonna take a little bit of a break again, and when we come back, I want to just talk about the future of these movies just for a little bit, and then just give our closing thoughts. I was gonna bring up. Yeah, just our closing thoughts, any theories, which I love. You guys know how I love making dumb theories.
You can take over on that one.
I love making my dumb, nonsensical theories. So that'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, we'll take a little bit of a break here, guys. And when we come back, we'll finish up the season finale of the Digital Dash here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Stay tuned, guys.
Can you hear me chewing?
No, but I can hear myself talking.
And we're back here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. The Digital Dash, your host by your boy Javier Reyes. I'm joined obviously by 2 more illustrious guests, I should say. What are your guys like names you want to have? Like
Radha?
No, I mean like
my birth name would be
like a setup like the pure one, Radha Varma. You know what I mean? Something like that. Do you want
I wouldn't call myself pure, but
like the dynamic duo?
I know that's why I said pure one, because it's absolutely not true.
Shut up. That's not radio talk, my friend.
Yeah, okay, fine. So yeah, we were just finishing talking about all types of stuff. I'm honestly lost at this point. But basically, we wanted to finish up. I talked about my list a little bit. I'll probably post it somewhere later, just so the millions of people tuning in at home can have a record of it. That way, when turns out that I'm wrong.
About time.
Yeah. That way.
Oh, we never read our list though. Do you want us to read that?
I read my top 5.
I forgot to get you guys to read your list. Because first of all, Kayla has the hipster list. You have the ultimate hipster list. Your number 1 is crazy.
Biased. She literally is biased. That's why.
Yeah. Look, what are you eating, by the way?
She's eating Captain Popcorn.
Pirate's
Booty.
Anyway.
Captain America popcorn.
Anyway, read your list.
Okay. So. Oh, should I start from bottom to top like you did?
Yeah.
Okay, so worst is Iron Man 2, then Iron Man, Doctor Strange, then I have a tie for Thor and Thor 2, Iron Man 3, Avengers 2, Thor 3, Infinity War, Spider-Man, Ant-Man, Black Panther, Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah, that's the mic drop. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is your number 1, which I support. I don't think it's the best one, but I love that. You know, what's funny about that movie is people really, I'm not going to say they disliked it, like vehemently disliked it, but people were like, oh my god, the first one was so much better. And I'm like, was it that much better? I thought the second was really...
list is made based on like what's a good movie. versus my list is based on which movie do I enjoy the most. Like, very selfish.
Which it should be.
Yeah.
Which
because
I'm most invested in. That's what it is.
Exactly, because if you end up enjoying the movie, that's what you think is the best movie.
Yeah, for sure.
But I agree with the Thors and the Iron Mans. They all
the
were
Thors,
at the
all the Iron Mans.
But honestly, Iron Man 3 was my favorite Iron Man by far because I thought it was so cool. Like, I could watch that one again, but the other ones I would not care for.
I really enjoy how, just a quick aside to praise Mr. Tony Stark a second, he's kind of like our generation's James Bond in a sense where, like, the James Bond movies are known for, like, there's always new gadgets. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like the shtick of those things sometimes. And Iron Man, it's like he has a new weird suit thing. Where it's like the first one's the beginning. The second one, he has that portable thing on the racetrack. If you remember that one by any chance. Why are you looking? What the heck was that?
I have some sunflowers in my room, and there's a caterpillar on them, so I was looking at it.
And I'm just making fun of Kayla.
And you know, Iron Man 3, he's controlling like 40 of them at the same time.
Which is awesome.
Yeah,
I thought that was so cool.
He has one that he can call from anywhere. It's really cool. And then in Infinity War, he's got this weird, like, nanotech thing, which is one of my favorite things about that movie. I love the visuals of that thing. He's, like, creating swords and armor hammers out of nowhere. That was really cool. One of my favorite little things in that movie, visually, is when his suit is getting trashed by Thanos, and one of the arm things isn't working anymore. I don't know if you remember this. And then he realigns the part that's still intact from his leg to go to his hand so he has it back. I just think that's so cool. I like that.
I don't remember that, but I do remember, like, fight scene and how he was, like, literally in shambles. And
yeah, I just like that it's like he can make it to do whatever he wants. That was pretty cool. Anyway, what was I saying? Guardians 2. Yeah, that movie, it's really heartfelt, you know, like, it's got heart. I think it has a lot more heart to it. I really like the end. Yeah. The Yondu thing was sad. I like the song that plays at the end. It really just got
a little fun fact. Sorry to cut you off, Javi.
Oh, here we go.
But Kayla and I in middle school, we took chorus together, and our chorus teacher actually wrote the song Brandy, which is in the opening scene of Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
He plays the piano.
So we're basically famous. So you're welcome for. We're doing charity work for Javi right now.
Yeah, that must have been awesome. Yeah, you really are. That must have been awesome when you just watched the movie for the first time and that was the first song.
It's okay.
Yeah, I really like that movie.
He recently retired, so.
Oh yeah, he completely retired from the middle school.
Might have been paid pretty well from that.
And his wife is a clown.
I like to whatever you guys are saying. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, Javi didn't go to middle school with us.
I mean, middle school.
I disclosed.
The first time I think I saw Radha for the most part was my driving permit. You remember this? That was insane. Yeah. And you were just there. Like, you were there. And we realized it later on. We were like, wait a minute, weren't you in the permit with me or whatever? That was funny.
So we didn't have the normal driving teacher. We had the cooler one.
Yeah, we did. But yeah, last thing on Guardians, I think that movie gets a lot of flack because it's really disorganized. Where, like, characters are all over the place. There's a lot of themes they're touching on. But for me, I didn't mind that because I feel like what's more Guardians than disorganization? I feel like they're the only characters that kind of allows for that. And humor and awkward, like, spots. I think it's okay because they're the Galaxy. They're weird, and that's the whole point. There's these zany, you know, eclectic bunch of people that are grouped together, and I like that. But the biggest problem with the Marvel movies a lot of people have is that the humor is just kind of poorly timed sometimes, where it just kind of ruins the moment. Which, since we got to wrap it up a little bit, I won't get too much into that. But let's talk about the future. Avengers 4 coming out next year, May 4th. 2 months after Captain Marvel, which we haven't had a trailer for, and for Avengers 4, we don't even have a title for it. What are your guys like a baseline prediction before I get into some of my crazy things?
I'm gonna start off by saying this is my first time watching them all around. If I want to see if my opinions on anything changes if I would watch them all over again. Because we watched Iron Man and, like, the first part of all the movies, like, at the very beginning of the summer. Like, I don't really remember a lot of the storyline of that.
Right.
So I don't think I can contribute with the theories.
Right. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you two have more of a better idea.
I think Javi's number one here.
Oh, yeah.
Kayla loves making fun of my theories. It's one of the common segments.
I think my theories are kind of more, and I like to say this, I'm a business student, so I think my theories are more business related. So
she's thinking more about the business behind Marvel.
Not kind of the fun way, but what's going to make Marvel the most money.
What a flex. I mean, as
number
a business,
one business school in the country.
For me, with that movie, well, first of all, Kayla, I love when the common thing that you would say, you'd be like, see, I think Javier, like, here's the thing. I think you focus.
Has she ever called you Javier?
No, I don't think she. Yeah,
You're literally starting drama right now.
She's like, see, here's
she
the thing with
Javi. Well, I think Javi.
Yeah, I think Javi, like, pays attention to the things that don't matter. Like, that's like what she said one time.
Wrong.
No, I pay attention. I pay attention to like these really minute details. She is right, but it's just the way she says it is funny.
I have a bone to pick with you, Javi.
If I'm being honest, I think if I'm being honest, I think I'm being a little bit more realistic, but I think that yours are more fun, and I think that's a better way to view these.
It's just.
I do have a bone to pick with Javi. We told him to stop doing the Stan Lee alerts, and he continued doing them, ruining.
Wait, really? I don't remember.
Yes.
That. I do not remember this.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
That's why he kept saying them, because he doesn't remember.
In one year out the other? Is that what you're saying?
Basically.
What the heck? I do not remember. I thought it was like a thing. I would be texting the chat like, hey, don't worry, guys. I'll send my Stan Lee alerts. Like, what?
I appreciated them, though, because I think I missed some.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were funny.
I think they're honestly just me bragging about how I remember them somehow. That's basically, yeah, I know. There you go. So here's the thing. With Avengers 4, half the characters are dead. Half the universe is dead, including animals. You guys have any quick theories?
Quick theories, yes.
Because I have one new one.
Doctor Strange is going to have a part to play. Iron Man's going to have a part to play. Rocket being the only one is going to have a part to play. And that's all I can think of off the top of my head.
So here's
Black Panther's coming back.
Yeah.
What?
Black Panther.
Oh yeah. I think everyone who died is somehow coming back. But because all the contracts ended, I don't know what's going to be the true end of the movie, though. I'm a little nervous for that.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I've told you guys some of my crazy predictions. One of them was that Thanos isn't the full villain in the next movie. That's one of my crazy predictions. I think it's Red Skull. Because I think Thanos is so developed as a character compared to where his comic book origins were, which is just this rah-rah, like, I want to kill things type of thing. And this one, he has a reason. It would be weird if they were just like, all right, let's just run it back. He's bad again, trying to do the same thing. I feel like there's going to be more. Maybe he regrets it a little bit. I don't know. It's going to be interesting what they do with that character.
Yeah.
And number 2 was that I think that there's something to when Captain America, this is one of my favorite ones, my little kind of sentimental one, where there's a part in that movie when Thanos is getting the last stone, and he kind of is about to punch Cap, and he, for some reason, holds his arm back.
Oh, yeah.
It's that really dramatic scene, and there's something about that scene where he looks at him, Thanos, he looks at him, like, weirdly, and, like I said, I read into things way too much sometimes. For me, that scene was like, he shouldn't have been able to hold this Titan back, who has 5 of the most powerful items in the world, or in the universe, at his disposal. He should have just threw him across. I feel like he wasn't expecting that, so my theory is that the stones react to strong wills. And that Steve, he still took him down, but to me that was like him using the gauntlets to try to take him down. For some reason, the stones responded to Steve Rogers because of his strong will that we've seen, and that he's like the most pure character. So for me, that's just a wild theory. Probably not true, but it's fun. And last one, this is my newest one for you guys. Here's a real.
We haven't heard this one yet.
Here's the spice. All right. One of the reports, I think Zoe Saldana said this, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but someone of the cast said that. In Avengers 4, there is a scene.
Wait, who is that?
Gamora.
Okay.
One of the, like I said, Zoe Saldana basically pointed out that there is a scene in Avengers 4 where more than 60 superheroes are on screen at the same time, or like basically everybody. I believe it was for Avengers 4, if I'm not mistaken. My theory is that a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, that's going to be a giant battle scene. They're all fighting Thanos. They all team up. Here's my theory. It's kind of sad, too. I think that scene is all the superheroes are gathered for the funeral of Captain America.
Why just Captain America, though?
I feel like they want to end this on a real big dramatic note. He's one of the first Avengers. He was the one that everybody loves and respects. He's a hero, and he was a good person. To see this guy who's ripped out of time, essentially, and always did the right thing, he has all this respect. Like, you see it all over, sprinkle that through all the movies. I think it's like they make it a big, giant deal. I think Tony Stark doesn't die. I think he would have died.
Do you think that Robert Downey Jr. signed a new contract then?
My theory with him, I think he has such goodwill with Marvel. I think he has a good relationship with them. I think he does want to do other things now, but I think he's like, hey, you guys gave me a chance, basically, when kind of no other big studio would at the time. I think what he's going to do is his character doesn't die, but he's out of these movies. He gets married, and what you might get is like little tiny, like 30-second cameos every now and then in the other movies, where maybe he's the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever, and he like calls up Tony Stark or something like that. Like little minor cameos. That's what I'm expecting of that. That's my prediction.
Interesting. I think that's one of your better theories.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Really quickly.
Only time will tell.
It's definitely specific, but I like the funeral idea. And I have to say, listening to I don't listen to a lot, but listening to some of the interviews, to me it seems like Chris Evans was the most likely not to return, just from listening. I could be wrong, but so that would make sense to me, because I think this is definitely it for Captain America. Something else that's interesting is I think Captain America is a very important part in these movies, but he didn't really play a big part in Infinity War, right?
Yeah,
is that just me?
That's why
I think that was them just sprinkling a little bit of Marvel in that to be like, ooh, let's see if he comes back, and changes stuff and makes it.
I think that everybody knows who he was, so he was kind of just there. He's had 3 movies, so you didn't need to have him too much involved in it. Yeah, for Iron Man too, but Iron
Man played a bigger part in it. Iron Man
for sure.
A big part in it.
I think what the focus of 4 is the relationship between Steve Rogers and Tony Stark, them coming back together. All right, but before we get into some of our final predictions, going to take a quick little break, and we'll be right back here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Whoops, had a little malfunction there. Hold on, are you guys still there?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Whoops, yeah, that was a mistake. Oh, goody. All right, so as we were saying, Avengers theories. You guys have any last random predictions, basically, to close things out?
Me? No. I'm not. No.
No.
Javi, you know me. I don't. No.
Yeah, you're the one who got Spider-Man mixed up with Deadpool.
I'm the one that's more realistic. I'll make the predictions when I watch the movie. Foreshadowing, as always.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that's another common thing is Radha didn't know the definition of foreshadowing for at least the first 3 movies.
I do know it, but it's a joke.
You did, the first time you said it, you didn't. I know that for sure. The first time you were like, oh, foreshadowing. I think you genuinely thought that was it or something like that. I forgot there was something, and then from then on it became a running joke. Like many things that a lot of us said throughout these rewatches.
Javi's fake, so.
Yeah, I pretty much am. This is all just a ruse, really. Fake it till you make it, though. That's how it works, right? So yeah, you guys have any final thoughts? Any other movies you want to talk about? Really?
I hope that Gamora comes back.
Yeah, I want her back too.
Optimistic,
oh yeah.
I really hope so. And then I hope Shuri's okay.
She's fine. She's alive. They confirmed that.
Oh, they did confirm that? Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Some of the off-screen characters like Valkyrie, Korg, people from Thor Ragnarok, they did not die in the snap. Or not in the snap, but before that, at the beginning of the movie. Yeah, Shuri, I'm going to be interested to see that. I want to see Shuri with Peter Parker, for the record. I want to see them, interact with each other, the 2 youngest characters. I think that would just be really funny. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I think that, man, what's funny is that these characters are probably going to come back. By what's the minute mark they come back in Avengers 4? Because it's the beginning of the movie. Another report, by the way, is that because Gwyneth Paltrow apparently leaked it accidentally, said that it takes place 10 years later. First of all, I love that.
Yeah, you said that. I didn't know that was confirmed. Well,
yeah. I don't know if it's confirmed. It's still a rumor, but I love the idea of no, this thing happened, and what does the world look like? You know what I mean? And the fact that it's been 10 years, apparently they might have a kid, which is interesting.
Oh, something mention Ant-Man and Hawkeye are gonna have an important part.
Oh yeah,
too.
we forgot about them. We forgot all about Mr. Hawkeye, the most undervalued Avenger, for good reason. I like that joke in Deadpool that they make about him. That was funny. I think that overall, I'm wondering where they take this thing forward, because I think it's gonna be like a changing of the guards situation for the most part. I don't know who the new Avengers will be.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's like, I do 100%. I'm all in. I think Captain America dies. I think this is his final like big movie.
I do too.
It's gonna be sad too. I'm gonna cry like a baby after that. I love Chris Evans.
So is
and I really
Kayla.
like Cap. Yeah, that's gonna be rough. That's gonna be really rough. I'm not ready for it. So yeah, guys. Any final thoughts? Any final comments? You can make fun of me. Whatever you want to do.
I think that our next movie series should be Shrek.
Yes, the Shrek cinematic universe, right?
Yes.
Absolutely, that would be a blast.
Kayla disagrees. She's shaking her head while she's eating her pirate's booty right now.
Hey, I voted Harry Potter, and I'm 100% down for that.
I would actually, realistically, yes, I would like to do Harry Potter.
A little easier to do them. How many movies did we watch this summer? Like,
we watched 18.
We watched 18, and on top of that, we also spent we spent the nights where we could have watched a movie to go out to, like, the movies and watch another movie that was coming out.
Yeah, that's true. Like, there were, like, little other times we hung out where we didn't watch the movies, basically.
Yeah. We wasted a bit of time
We're
here and there.
We're friends.
So, yeah. We're friends.
It's been an honor, guys. It really has. It's been just, not just an honor for you guys to come on. For my final show of the summer.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God, the biggest honor in the world.
It started at New Year's Eve, and now we're here.
New Year's Eve? Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I did forget about New Year's Eve. I'm really excited. Hopefully, and you guys, of course, are always welcome on again if you want to talk Marvel stuff or whatever. Or when we do the Harry Potter in review. Stay tuned, everybody. To be announced 2019 when the release date of that production will be released. I know people are on the edge of their seats for that.
I'm sure.
For sure. And honestly, I was thinking, like, I was talking to you guys about this. When the Avengers trailer drops, because that's going to happen at some point when Captain Marvel, more info. I want to hear you guys' takes on that. That'll be a lot of fun. Maybe they'll confirm one of my theories.
We should do a live viewing on
a live reaction of the trailer?
Yeah. That'd be funny.
Here's the thing. I would love to do that. I don't know if I'd be able to wait. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, you can wait. No, you don't have to. We'll wait.
We'll wait.
Okay.
We can do a little share screen thing on here and figure it out.
If it happens on, like, Saturday and I have to wait 2 days for my show, I wouldn't make it. I'm on Twitter way too much. I just couldn't resist. So that's what's probably going to happen. But yeah, guys, it was a blast having you guys on. And for everybody else, you're listening to the Digital Dash here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. The season finale, I'm going to be back September 10th. That'll be my first show of the next semester. Probably going to talk some football stuff. My friend Tommy, Mr. Tommy Byrne, is probably going to call in. We're going to talk about some anime stuff. Otherwise, still got to plan some more things. More entertainment, more pop culture, video games. Going to talk Spider-Man PS4. You know how it's going to be. And I'm really excited for it. Mondays during the semester, 4 to 7 p.m. Be sure to stay tuned for that. I'll be after Mario Papa's show, Mario's Monday Mojo. So I'll be right after his, and he's a good friend of mine, so that's going to be really cool. So until then, guys, remember, never accept the world for what it appears to be. Dare to see it for what it could be. You know, that's my last, that's how I end every show on a positive note.
Oh,
wow. It's been a blast, guys.
Movie?
What did you say?
Is that from a Marvel movie?
No, it's from something else that I won't reveal.
It's a Javier original.
Yeah, for sure. I wish I came up with
Mario Party?
No. Mario Party? Like, can you imagine, like, Toad coming out and saying that after you hit a dice block? But yeah, guys, and as always, we've closed out the show with Journey, Separate Ways, Worlds Apart. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your summer. Enjoy football week 1. I won't be back yet before football week 1. Enjoy Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4. Enjoy life. Say something nice to people. Don't be mean like these two.
Bobby, you suck.
Yeah. So there you go. It's been a blast, guys. Separate Ways, Worlds Apart. This is the Digital Dash. Can't wait to be back September 10th, 4 to 7 p.m. Be there. Have a nice day, everyone.
Bye.
Why am I crying right now?
Why am I crying in the club?
All right, see you guys.